Eagles with First Trust, Philly's hometown bank for nearly 90 years, and the official bank of the Philadelphia Eagles. We're focused on getting you over the goal line. So go with conviction, go with trust,
Go Birds!
And go forward with us by your side. First Trust Bank, the official bank of Philadelphia dreams. Oh, and go Birds.
Are you ready for this weekend's college and pro football action with your beverage needs? With large selections of domestic, imported, and craft beer at the lowest prices around, you'll score a touchdown every time. Visit the following locations. In Northwest Philly, Cotman Beverage on Frankfurt Ave. In Havertown, Beer Guys in the Manoa Shopping Center. And in Southampton, Southampton Beverage on 2nd Street Pike.
Bet Rivers Casino app has so many slots, your head will spin. There's the classics like 88 Fortunes and Jinji Baoshi, and new favorites like Dancing Drum Explosion and Hurricane Horse Coin Combo. Plus, right now, when you make a first-time deposit of $50 using code CASINO, you'll get $200 in free play. That's $200. Download the Bet Rivers Casino app today. It's a whole new game.
Presented by Rivers Casino, Pittsburgh. Must be 21. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Is sports betting about to become way more fun? You bet. Because the BetParx app has a brand new sports book. Live bets and parlays? You bet. Instant deposits and incredible app experience? You bet. Plus, your first bet is risk-free up to $750. So, are you already a winner just for signing up on the BetParx Sportsbook app? You bet. BetParx. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Terms and conditions apply. Pennsylvania and New Jersey only.
SEPTA and the BetParx Casino and Sportsbook app have something special for fans all season long. Free rides home from every Birds home game. Fans ride home free from every home game on SEPTA's Broad Street line from NRG Station, courtesy of the BetParx Casino and Sportsbook app. Free rides begin at halftime of every home game. Join the fun on the BetParx Casino and Sportsbook app by downloading now at betparx.com. Free rides and all about the fans from SEPTA and BetParx. Must be 21 and in Pennsylvania or New Jersey. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
WPEN Burlington, Philadelphia, a Beasley Media Group station, home of the most entertaining sports talk in Philadelphia. 97.5, The Fanatic, Philadelphia.
Welcome in to Eagles post game here on 97.5 The Fanatic.
Baby.
It is Connor Thomas. It is Thomas Alvord. And we have got you for all of the reaction. And I have some unfortunate news for the National Football League.
What's that, Connor?
The Philadelphia Eagles are an absolute wagon.
You've been saying that all afternoon.
They're an absolute
Love that
wagon.
word.
This is a monstrous team. This is a monstrous win. That Jacksonville Jaguars team that they just beat, give the Philadelphia Eagles absolute credit for that one, and give the Jaguars credit for what they did, jumping out to a 14-0 lead and punching the Eagles square in the mouth. Listen, you come out in terrible conditions at home, and you look like you're ready to get boat raced. 14 unanswered to start the game. After just putting your defense on the field and looking like you're going to take advantage of everything against Trevor Lawrence and getting a 3-and-out, and then just the offense didn't look good. The defense was good all day, but like you give up 14 unanswered, a pick 6 by Jalen Hurts, which wasn't that bad of a throw, but slightly behind A.J. Brown and then a tough bounce. The resiliency, though, the fight in this team, they didn't blink. And if you're another team in the NFL watching what just transpired in Philadelphia on a really soggy field there at Lincoln Financial Field, I'd be terrified to face the Philadelphia Eagles right now. And the rest of the league should be, because this team is incredible. Now, I know it's only been 4 weeks. I know we're a month into it. There's a long way to go. They got 13 more games they're going to have to play. But when you look at the schedule and when you look at the quality of this team, it's hard not to get really excited about what this team's ceiling is right now.
Yeah, this is a damn good football team, Connor Thomas. It really is. We've been saying it for 3 weeks now leading up into this week. There were worries about things. They were worried about second half scoring. They were worried about second half play calling. Today was a damn good football team that you beat. In my opinion, I think the Jaguars are going to surprise some people as the season goes on. The defense shut down Justin Herbert last week. I know he's banged up a little bit, but to blow out the Chargers as the Jaguars did last week, this is a pretty good football team that you're facing in terrible conditions, in terrible weather. You get down 14 points early in the game. Injuries hit you early in the game with Darius Slay going out, Jordan Mailata going out. No word on that, guys. Hopefully Tim McManus, who joins us a little bit later, will give us an update on that. But to be in the hole that they were in against your former head coach, down 14-0 with some big-name guys going out to injury early, and to respond the way they did, outscoring the Jaguars until that point 29-7 to finish out the game. That was a really gritty, tough win, and that showed me something huge, Connor Thomas. That showed me that this team can win in so many different ways. They can win when they get ahead. They can win when they go in a hole. They can win with the run game. Miles Sanders was tremendous today. 27 carries for Miles Sanders. Only the fourth time in his career he's had more than 20 carries or more in his fourth season now. 27 carries, 134 yards, 2 touchdowns. You took care of the ball. Much better than I expected coming into this game with the weather, how it was. Much better than the Jaguars, who had, 4 turnovers, 3 fumbles, and an interception from Trevor Lawrence. To win the way they did today, man, that was a statement not only to me, but I think that was a statement to a lot of people around Philadelphia and in the Philadelphia area.
I completely agree with you. This is going to be an absolute party postgame. Want you to jump in with your reactions. 610-632-0975. I have a special request. If you were one of those psychopaths that went to this game and sat through the rain and was actually down there.
Shout out to you, yes.
First off, you're nuts. Second off, I want to hear from people leaving the stadium right now. One, what's wrong with you that you sat through that weather? And I know we're all huge Birds fans, and if I had the chance to be down there, I would have sat through that too. But I want to know what it was like down there. I want to hear all the reactions from all of you out there. We're going to have Tim McManus check in and tell us about everything going on. We're going to hear from Nick Sirianni in his post-game availability. We're going to hear from Jalen Hurts in his post-game availability, who right now, for my money, and it's tough to put him above Lamar Jackson, but he's very much in the conversation for MVP of the NFL. He's the NFC Offensive Player of the Month coming into this week, and all he did was show up and really outside of that opening pick six, he took care of the ball in really, really tough conditions. You saw what Trevor Lawrence, who's slightly more inexperienced quarterback, not that Jalen Hurts is truly a veteran yet, but you saw what the weather can do with ball security. Trevor Lawrence with 3 fumbles on the day, and it's just the Eagles did a great job of taking care of everything. Jalen Hurts mainly, and there's really not all that much to complain about this game. Now, if there was something, we can talk about the injuries. Here's the good news. Jordan Mailata, you saw him after the halftime break. He was doing some stuff with some pad work on the side, working with one of the staff members that the Eagles have, who was holding the bag for him, and he was hitting it a little bit, trying out stuff. You don't do that if it's a serious injury. If he was trying to come back in the game, he ultimately didn't. That's a positive thing. Darius Slay on the sidelines with his helmet on, didn't come back in the game. Another hopefully positive sign there. Devontae Smith came up a little bit lame, came back in the game. Jake Elliott got crushed on that roughing the kicker, came back in and made a kick after that. Now they opted not to go for it from a little bit longer distance. We'll see. But it seems like the injury for the time being super major, and we'll talk to Tim McManus about that and see if he's got any more information. We'll hear what Nick Sirianni says post-game. But really, just from what started out as a nightmare, being down 14-0 off the rip, this is a pretty fun day at the Yard, huh?
Yeah, no, it really was. And those injuries, like you said, we are going to get an update on those. Nothing seemed too major. You're right. When Mailata went down, first thing you're thinking is collarbone, shoulder. And for him to be actually doing pad work, as you mentioned, that is a really good sign for him. We'll see. We'll get some more information. You're going to want to stay tuned in, because as soon as we find out, you find out, so we will let you know. But yeah, the way that this team responded, and honestly, the way that Jalen Hurts responded as well. That throw, the interception, that pick six that was returned. Listen, you said it wasn't the worst throw. It wasn't a great throw either. That was behind them.
Great.
They make a play. A.J. Brown decides to make a business decision on that one and not go for the tackle. I saw a lot of people complaining about that on Twitter. It is what it is. It ends up working out at the end. But for Jalen Hurts to respond, and listen, he didn't blow me away with his passing stats or anything like that. But what do you expect when you have weather like this? When it's 20-mile-per-hour winds and it's pouring the entire game. He goes 16 for 25, 204 yards, has the one interception, no touchdown passes. He also gives you 16 rushes for 38 yards. And I think what he did with his legs today was unbelievable in certain situations because of how poor the field conditions were, because he couldn't really hold on to the ball too long because not much was getting downfield, because you don't want to air it out too much when the weather's this bad and risk an interception or risk balls being batted, whatever it may be. I thought he played a really good game-managing type game. Now, when people hear that, they might think, oh, you're bashing on him, game manager. That's the worst thing you want in the NFL.
No, but that's what the weather allowed.
In this kind of game, you needed a game manager, someone who took care of the ball. And other than the first drive of the game, he took care of the ball, and he went out there and he put this team in a really good position to win. Listen, this team right now, you mentioned MVP. He's right in the conversation. If he's not number one, he's number two right behind Lamar Jackson, in my opinion. And we'll see the betting odds. They'll get updated as after today and after Monday, and we'll see. But he's been playing really, really well. And for someone who had big-time questions about Jalen Hurts coming into the season, more so than you did, you were a little bit more sure on Hurts than myself. He has done nothing but impress me so far in these 4 games. And right now, Philadelphia, you have maybe a top 5 team in all of football, a top 3 team in all of football. Dare I say it, Connor Thomas? Maybe the best team in all of football. You are record-wise.
You said it, ladies and gentlemen.
The only 4-0 team, and you beat and MP. That's the one thing people are going to go to. Oh, you beat the Lions, you beat the Jags, you beat the Commanders. Listen, you play who is in front of you. Detroit Lions look like a much better team. Kirk Cousins, he's Kirk Cousins, but I think that Minnesota team is very talented. Jaguars are much improved, not only last year, they could potentially fight for that division in the AFC South this season. You're 4-0. You've beaten the teams. You've beaten teams in different ways. I'm nothing but impressed with this Eagles football team, Connor.
No, that's how you should be. You look at the distribution of the yards. The Eagles, 401 total yards in this one, 210 on the ground, 191 through the air, a day that was really tough to throw it. And the other thing that was really good, that can't be understated, this defense is really talented.
Once again,
James Bradbury, I tweeted it out when he made the diving interception.
How about that play, man?
Great play.
Unbelievable.
A little bit of an unnecessary dive. It's one of those ones where, you know, when you see like an outfielder in baseball, like make the catch and then lay out after.
I think his eyes lit up.
Securing the ball.
Because he made the perfect read and he made the perfect jump.
It was a great play.
It was. It absolutely was.
But that's the benefit of having 2 cornerback number ones, 2 number 1 cornerbacks. Like Darius Slay goes down, and while you're struggling on one side of the ball, and you gave up a couple of deep balls where there was some blown coverage because of that. You're already missing Avonte Maddox going into the game. You lose Darius Slay during the game. But the benefit of bringing James Bradbury in here, he can make a play like that for you when they start throwing the ball his way, which they were forced to at points because you can't just ignore that whole side of the field. It's multiple fumble recoveries, great defense, a couple blown coverages, but the interception by James Bradbury in a huge spot where Jacksonville's driving in to score. It's just a really, really all-around good team, and maybe the best part. This is something that wasn't one of the big fumble plays. It wasn't the big interception by Bradbury, but Jacksonville, you've got James Robinson, a resurgent year coming off of injury. You've got Travis Etienne, who is one of the good young running backs.
Overall, first-round pick.
71 rushing yards. And Trevor Lawrence, mobile as well. Like, that's just a really, really good job of taking away what Jacksonville does best. I understand Zay Jones out, their top pass catcher. Get that, but man, I can't say enough good things about what the Eagles did today and the manner in which they did it, coming back from down 14-0 to just not blink and bounce back. You know what that is, Tom?
What's that?
That reflects leadership.
Yep.
That reflects what Jalen Hurts talks about. That reflects what Nick Sirianni talks about, the raising the standard talk, the holding ourselves to a higher standard. And I already know what Jalen Hurts is going to say postgame. You can hear it. This is your free preview, and we will hear from Jalen Hurts himself, so you can hear him say it in that very calm and measured voice, but I'm going to say it very excitedly. He's going to tell you that they haven't reached their standard yet. And Nick Sirianni's going to say again, whether it's today or it's his Tuesday availability or whatever he talks, or Monday, whatever he talks, he's going to say, well, I still don't know where Jalen Hurts' ceiling is. And they're going to feed us that same stuff. But man, they're getting closer to that damn standard every single week, and it is just an absolute joy to watch. 610-632-0975. So excited to hear how excited you are out there listening that watch that game and sees what the Eagles are doing. And I want to know where you think the ceiling of this team is. Tom, I'll throw it to you real quick. What is their ceiling? Is it the S word? Are we ready to, not the one we can't say on air. No, the Super Bowl word.
Don't say that.
Is that where this team's ceiling is right now? Because I honestly think at this point, 4-0, only undefeated team left in football coming into this week, and now they win again. We'd be selling them short for that not to be their ceiling. Not the expectation, but their ceiling right now.
Yeah, when you talk about ceiling, you're probably correct. So I'm the type of person, I said it last week with Tyler Zulli after they went 3-0, where, hey, listen, it is way too early. You are 3 weeks into a season. I'm not talking Super Bowl at all. I kind of have the same thought process now. You're 4-0. It's 4 weeks into the season. We're really excited because they might be the best team in football right now. It's still early, so myself, I'm not going to have the Super Bowl expectations. You can out there. I'm not raining on your parade at all. If you're excited about this football team, let us know. Tell us. Tell your friends. You should be excited. But to me, it's a long season. There's a lot of time left. Listen, the Arizona Cardinals were, 7-0 last year through the first 7 games of the season, and Kyler Murray was going to win MVP, and then they've just bottomed out completely since then. But this team, I'm not comparing the two teams. I'm not comparing the two quarterbacks or anything like that. I'm just saying it's a long season. When you talk about ceiling, though, when I look at a 4-0 football team that has won in many different ways, that has dominated teams throughout their 4-0. Today wasn't much of a domination. It was more so after the second quarter, but you dominated the Vikings. You dominated the Commanders. The kind of football right now that the Philadelphia Eagles are playing, while it's a little too early for me to say Super Bowl, when you talk about ceiling of an actual team, yeah, I think that's what the ceiling is for this team right now. There is no ceiling.
Right. It'd be unfair to not give them that ceiling because, frankly, record-wise, they're the best team in football.
Yes.
They're playing like it week in and week out. And again, we need to talk about this. This is not, you can absolutely be excited. You should be. We're going to be. But this is the one precautionary thing, right? The expectation is not Super Bowl. You're not sitting here saying, okay, we expect them to.
No, I don't think it can be 4 weeks into a season.
I don't think it should be for any team
Sure.
in week 4, regardless of, it shouldn't be for the Bills.
The Packers,
and if the
Bucks,
Bills are 4-0, it shouldn't be. That's just not a healthy expectation. You can be excited, but also allow the season to play out. I don't have any reservations about this team right now. Jalen Hurts is playing like an MVP candidate. Nick Sirianni is coaching like a Coach of the Year candidate. Jonathan Gannon is not going to be a member of this staff next year because his defense is playing like one that's going to get him hired as a head coach somewhere. Everything's great in Eagles land. That being said, we're talking ceiling, not expectation. That means what they can achieve, not what they should achieve. And what they should achieve right now, I'm willing to say, is absolutely a playoff berth, absolutely a division title, absolutely a playoff win, and we'll see where it goes from there because the NFL's weird and who knows what's going to happen in January and February when they get there.
This team just looks like it doesn't have a weakness right now. It really doesn't. I mean, even with Darius Slay going down, that was my big concern about cornerback and secondary depth. James Bradbury, goes out, steps up, has a huge interception for you. Didn't get completely torn apart in the second half after Darius Slay goes down. The D-line has stepped up big time. That was something we were worried about after week 1. Hey, is this D-line really, really old? Are they kind of cooked at this point? Is Hassan Reddick overrated? Since then, they've been a really, really good D-line. You look at the run game. After last week, they only run for 50 yards or something like that. I think it was 2.1 yards per carry after week 3's game. You go out there today, 50 carries for 210 yards and 4 touchdowns on the ground. This team right now, Connor, looks like they have absolutely no weakness. Another big concern, Jonathan Gannon. He's looked nothing but good since week 1. Jalen Hurts, as I mentioned a little bit before, a ton of people had questions about him. Right now, I have no questions about Jalen Hurts because he went out there today after being the maybe top 5 in MVP after 3 weeks. The first 3 weeks of the season, he goes out today. Week 4, it's a little bit different of a game. He goes out and game manages, takes care of the football, makes plays when they needed to be made. This team looks like it has no weaknesses, no glaring weaknesses at least right now. We'll see on the injury front, because if you lose Jordan Mailata and Darius Slay for a long period of time, it's a different conversation. But I am nothing but excited about this Eagles football team right now, and I think a lot of people out there are as well.
610-632-0975. We're going to go to the phones here in just a second. One other thing that I want to tell you, though, too. Something to keep in mind, because a lot of people have been bringing up like the schedule. Mostly people that cover the NFL on a national scale or root for other teams to try and discredit what the Eagles are doing. Listen, Minnesota could very well win the NFC North. Jacksonville could very well win the AFC South.
AFC South, yep.
Like, you could be playing, at this point, if I had to bet on teams to win those divisions, it'd be Minnesota and Jacksonville. So, yeah, sure, face value, you're like, oh, well, they haven't played anybody tough. I mean, they could have played 2 division winners out of their first 4 games.
And I think a big thing is people are like, oh, you played the team with what? The number 1 pick in the draft last year and the number 2 pick in the draft last year. So you've played the 2 worst teams in football in these first 4 weeks. And, oh, by the way, the Washington Commanders and Carson Wentz just looks like he looks terrible, man. He looks so bad. You've played the 2 worst teams in football through the first 4 weeks, but they are not the same football teams as they were last season, the Detroit Lions and the Jacksonville Jaguars. So I'm going to have to see it against a better team, too. Like next week against Arizona is going to be a really, really good test on the road for this football team, and I'm excited for that. But these are different teams than they were last year when you talk about the Lions and when you talk about the Jacksonville Jaguars. And like we said, you play who's in front of you, and they've done that, and they've beaten who's been in front of them so far. That's all you can ask for.
Absolutely. Now, I'm going to preface this phone call by letting you know we're going to go to Antonio here. The screen's telling me he's leaving the game, so he might be crazy because he sat through that weather. But let's open up the phone lines with Antonio, who's on a cell phone. Antonio, you're on 97.5 The Fanatic.
Hey, guys. Hope all is well. Yeah, the rain was awful. It wasn't only rain. It was cold, pouring rain, and the winds were very heavy.
What's wrong with you that you sat through that, man?
Oh, yeah. Shout out to all my fellow diehard Eagles fans that were there. Rain, snow, sleet, tornado warning, you name it. We'll be there to support our birds.
That's a great job by you, man. It is. And everybody out there.
Thank you. My dad and I have been season ticket holders for a couple decades now, and the lines to buy alcohol were the longest we've ever seen. Despite all that and despite the lack of fans at the game, it was just as loud as the season opener. We had a great time.
Man, that's awesome. I'm glad you enjoyed it. So you were there. You saw the start by Jacksonville, the 14-0 lead. What was the mood like in the stadium when they got out to that lead? Was it nervous there? Because I'll tell you, Tom and I watching, definitely nervous that this was going to be a blowout the wrong direction.
We were confident the entire time. You guys were talking about expectations earlier. For me, the expectation is the Super Bowl and this 17-year dogfight in our NFC East division. That's my expectation. That's going to break, and we will dominate for the years to come.
Man, that'd be awesome. There needs to be a repeat division winner in the NFC East. And, well, they got to win it once first. And we're still in week 4. But, man, I love the confidence. I love that you guys were zoned in from the start. I love that you sat through the game, man. That's absolutely awesome, Antonio. Appreciate you taking the time to join us. Stay dry on and safe on the ride home.
You know that car ride feels awesome right now. After you got the heat blaring, after sitting in the rain for 5 hours, a little boozed up in the passenger seat, of course, you know that feels awesome right now, especially after a win.
Because could you imagine, like, you're just sitting in the car in traffic in the parking lot at the Link right now. You're in Jetro lot, just, like, soaked, and they lost. And you're like, oh, man,
it's the
terrible.
worst. It's the absolute worst.
Now, who cares? Nobody's honking. You can't hear a car horn down there, and there's crazy traffic. Doesn't matter. Someone cuts you off in traffic. Who cares? Birds won.
Yep, that's all.
Came back, hung 29 on the Jaguars, came back, and 29 unanswered after the 14-0 lead. Just, man, absolutely incredible job by the Birds, and great job by all the fans like Antonio who sat through it. That's also why the Eagles are great. That's why we love you guys. That's why we do the job that we do. It's because of fans like that and sitting through. Like, of course, you got to put a good product out on the field if you're the Phillies or the Flyers or even the Sixers at points. But, man, the Eagles, we know how it is in this city, and that's a huge advantage. So if you were there, don't sell yourself short. It's a big part of why this team is so good at the Link. Everything was great. The fans were great. The coaches were great. The players were great. Just an absolute fun day. Let's check in with Andrew in Phoenixville next. Says it's the type of win he expected because of the weather. Andrew, you're on 97.5 The Fanatic.
Absolutely. Good afternoon, guys. Yeah,
What's going on, man?
Expected this type of win because obviously the ball being so wet, obviously a lot of fumbles, not a lot of good catches. Obviously the winds played a huge factor. It was a very good win. It wasn't the type of clean win that we expect. But that's where we come in as a really good, full-hearted team. I mean, we pounded that ball. Miles Sanders is amazing.
He looked awesome today, and he's looked awesome so far this season.
And he's on his rookie deal. Is that correct?
Last year, yep. Last year was rookie deal.
He is in a contract year.
You know, honestly, if he keeps this up, he deserves a really good contract extension.
Here's the tough thing, Andrew, right? Like, paying a running back doesn't normally pan out for teams. Like, paying a running back is a clear line between good teams and teams that end up being, like, middle of the standings or lower. So I don't think he gets the payday here, but it's great for him in a contract year that he's performing how he is.
Absolutely. And so with that said, obviously this week is going to be very important with the injury report with Mariota and with Slay. This will show a huge test to Jonathan Gannon if Slay is not able to go next week, which I think he will. But, you know, honestly, we'll have to see what those injury reports are about. But I guess that's one of the things that is a slight, very small damper on Jonathan Gannon is that when Slay went out, there were a few zone coverages. And I'm like, all right, Jonathan, you need to tell your guys, the backup guys, don't let anybody behind you. And there were 2 plays that were behind him. So I guess that is the 1% that I could actually look at Jonathan Gannon. Next, last point is, obviously, we are 2 for 3 in revenge games. Last week,
Wentz and Doug, yes.
And this week is Doug. You know what next week is, right?
Zach Ertz, right?
Yes, that's right. Yeah, out there in Arizona.
So he was kind of upset that we gave him away to Arizona. So that could be a revenge game as well. But it's in Arizona. The weather's better, and hopefully that we will have a much better injury or lack thereof report going into next Sunday.
Yeah, and the Eagles were one of the healthiest teams of football coming into this game. Thank you for the call, Andrew.
Thanks,
appreciate
man.
it. Stay safe and dry out there.
Yeah, drive safe, everybody out there. It's crazy.
For sure.
Be careful.
Yes. The Birds winning does not mean you get to go 80 miles an hour down 95 on your way home. Drive safe. It's tough weather. But they were healthy coming into this game. They were like a top 3 healthiest team in football. We'll have to see what's going on with the injuries, and we'll hear in the post-game media availability.
My thought is probably precautionary, but we're going to find out soon.
Yeah, we'll see. Speaking of the post-game media availability, that's the word I'm looking for. We're going to break here a little bit early so we can come back, make sure we're good to go for the press conferences and hear from Coach Sirianni, hear from Jalen Hurts. So we're going to get out. We'll be right back with the pressers. We'll have Tim McManus later in the show. We'll have your reactions all the way through because, man, what a fun day it is to be a Philadelphia Eagles fan. The only undefeated team in football. The Birds moved to 4-0 with a 29-21 win over the Jaguars. We're going to talk about all of it, continue to break it down, and we'll be right back after this here on 97.5 The Fanatic.
97.5 The Fanatic.
My heart was racing just making spaghetti. I could have waited to tell my doctor, but I didn't wait.
I was short of breath just reading a book. I could have delayed telling my doctor, but I didn't wait.
They told their doctors and found out they have atrial fibrillation, a condition which makes it about 5 times more likely to have a stroke. If you have one or more of these symptoms, irregular heartbeat, heart racing, chest pain, shortness of breath, fatigue, or lightheadedness, this is no time to wait. Contact your doctor.
Brought to you by Bristol-Myers Squibb and Pfizer.
Hey guys, it's Andrew. I love betting on the NFL, and I'm always finding new player or game props. And what's cool about FanDuel Sportsbook in partnership with Valley Forge is you can combine these props with other bets from the same game to score an even bigger payout. It's perfect for all of Sunday's games. You can go same game parlay, or you can go league wide. How about the anytime touchdown scores? Same game parlays, league wide parlays. It's why I love betting on FanDuel. It's so easy to use. They always have awesome odds boosts, and you get paid fast. New to FanDuel? Get up to $1,000 back in free bets if your first bet doesn't win with promo code FANATIC. That's promo code FANATIC. Make every moment more with FanDuel, the official sportsbook partner of the NFL.
21 plus and present in PA. First online real money wager only. $10 first deposit required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable free bets that expire 14 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
I'd like to see the doctor for a few questions about medical marijuana.
Sir, the doctor is booked solid today and tomorrow and next week. Can you come back in 3 weeks?
Wait. Just to talk about a medical marijuana card, I have to wait 3 weeks?
No, sir. Just between us, no one has to wait. I got my own medical marijuana card sitting at my kitchen table through Veriheal.com. It was quick, professional, and so easy.
Veriheal.com?
Veriheal.com. They have a library of medical marijuana facts and scientific research to browse. And you can pre-qualify for a card online in minutes.
Great. but I still have questions.
You can easily talk to a doctor right there online. Everything is private and secure.
For reliable cannabis information and to pre-qualify online, join Veriheal's millions of satisfied clients at VERIHEAL.com. Get started today with easy financing. Pay only if you qualify. Veriheal.com.
Hurricane Ian is affecting the lives of millions. The American Red Cross is there now, working with local efforts to provide emergency shelter, food, and supplies for the thousands of evacuees. And they'll be there after the storm for those who will have lost it all. This station is part of the Beasley Best community of caring. To make a donation and to learn how you can help the American Red Cross disaster relief, emergency, and recovery efforts, go to bbgi.com/donate.
Hey, it's Andrew. Listen up. I have to tell you about a spot, not just a spot, but the spot in South Jersey. Club 2120. It's just over the bridge at Pennsauken, and it is South Jersey's finest gentlemen's club and sports lounge. They have it all. Bottle service, and of course, the hottest girls. I'm not lying. They're smoking. They have top shelf selection of the finest liquors, an awesome beer selection. You know how I love my beer. They got it all. And the DirecTV package, so you can catch any game at any time. But let's be honest, you might miss some of the action because the women, they're going to be a welcome distraction. You have to check out Club 2120. 2120 Route 73 in Pennsauken.
Every drive starts somewhere. For First Trust Bank, our drive started in Philadelphia and continues to this day. As Philly's hometown bank for more than 85 years, we know this city's people. We understand their passions, and we work our tails off to help them reach their goals every day. Because Philadelphia dreams deserve a Philadelphia bank. First Trust Bank, the official bank of the Philadelphia Eagles. Member FDIC.
Bet Rivers Casino app has so many slots, your head will spin. There's the classics like 88 Fortunes and Jinji Baoshi, and new favorites like Dancing Drum Explosion and Hurricane Horse Coin Combo. Plus, right now, when you make a first-time deposit of $50 using code CASINO, you'll get $200 in free play. That's $200. Download the Bet Rivers Casino app today. It's a whole new game.
Presented by Rivers Casino Pittsburgh. Must be 21. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
My heart was racing just making spaghetti. I could have waited to tell my doctor, but I didn't wait.
I was short of breath just reading a book. I could have delayed telling my doctor, but I didn't wait.
They told their doctors and found out they have atrial fibrillation, a condition which makes it about 5 times more likely to have a stroke. If you have one or more of these symptoms, irregular heartbeat, heart racing, chest pain, shortness of breath, fatigue, or lightheadedness, this is no time to wait. Contact your doctor.
Brought to you by Bristol-Myers Squibb and Pfizer.
At my age, I never dreamed I'd be dealing with opioid addiction.
I was pregnant, and I couldn't stop.
Getting sidelined by an injury was bad, but the cravings were way worse.
Then I heard about 844-REACH-NJ.
They connected me to treatment, and I had a healthy baby.
844-REACH-NJ was the call that made the difference.
Thank goodness I made the call.
So glad I made the call for both of us.
REACH-NJ.
If you or someone you love is struggling with addiction, call 844-REACH-NJ from the New Jersey Department of Human Services.
I always wanted to learn Spanish, but I never thought I'd have the time. Then I discovered Babbel.
Babbel's lessons are fun. They only take like 10 or 15 minutes, and in 3 weeks, presto, you're speaking another language, like magic.
I love that Babbel's lessons aren't just robots talking. They're voiced by native speakers, so you get the pronunciation just right.
If you want to learn a language, there's no faster, easier, better way than
Babbel.
Babbel.
Babbel. Go to Babbel.com to try for free. That's BABBEL.com. Babbel.com.
I know a lot of you really want the State Farm Personal Price Plan, but what's with the oversharing? Like this message from Sarah.
Hi, Jake from State Farm. I eat hard-boiled eggs, like shell and all. Crunch is exquisite.
You don't need to get that personal. The State Farm Personal Price Plan helps you create an affordable price just for you. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. Call or go to statefarm.com for a quote today.
Prices vary by state. Options selected by customer. Availability and eligibility may vary.
Is sports betting about to become way more fun? You bet. Because the BetParks app has a brand new sports book. Live bets and parlays? You bet. Instant deposits and incredible app experience? You bet. Plus, your first bet is risk-free up to $750. So, are you already a winner just for signing up on the BetParks Sportsbook app? You bet. BetParks. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Terms and conditions apply. Pennsylvania and New Jersey only.
SEPTA and the BetParks Casino and Sportsbook app have something special for fans all season long. Free rides home from every Birds home game. Fans ride home free from every home game on SEPTA's Broad Street line from NRG Station, courtesy of the BetParks Casino and Sportsbook app. Free rides begin at halftime of every home game. Join the fun on the BetParks Casino and Sportsbook app by downloading now at betparks.com. Free rides and all about the fans from SEPTA and BetParks. Must be 21 and in Pennsylvania or New Jersey. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
By the time you're finished listening to this Pepsi Zero Sugar, you'll be 15 seconds closer to kickoff. Stock up now because game day is so close you can almost taste it. Football watching. Better with Pepsi.
Hey, it's Cuz. You're watching the game this week with friends? Score big. Served in style. Primo Hoagies party trays and sampler platters. You get the best tasting Hoagies ever. Save yourself the prep time. Stop into one of their over 90 locations for the greatest Hoagies ever. It's not just a Hoagie. It's a Primo.
Listen to 97.5 The Fanatic everywhere. On Alexa at 975thefanatic.com. The Fanatic app. And now on Odyssey. Want to be the first to know what's happening at the Fanatic? Go to 975thefanatic.com and sign up for the Fanatic MVP Club. The Fanatic MVP Club. There's never a subscription fee, and it's only from 97.5 The Fanatic, Philadelphia.
That's right. The Eagles are 4-0, and we're discussing it here on 97.5 The Fanatic. Connor Thomas, Tom Alvord. It is 4:30, and we're going to hear from Nick Sirianni momentarily. We're also going to hear from Jalen Hurts momentarily. If you want to see our bright and shining faces and how excited we are, you can check us out on YouTube on 97.5 The Fanatic YouTube channel. We're on there, so you can see how excited we look. Got my bucket hat hanging around my neck, the lucky bucket hat that Andrew Salchunas and Jamie Lynch absolutely hate.
Makes sense.
I just saw myself on YouTube, too. My hair looks terrible. But it's because I had to walk through the rain to get to my car and everything. Man, it is rough weather out there. We talked about it in the open. Shout out to anyone who sat through that. But the Eagles played through it. They moved to 4-0. They take down the Jacksonville Jaguars 29-21. Just all around great work for them. And we're going to hear, I'm sure, a bunch of happy things from Nick Sirianni and Jalen Hurts and the rest of the assembled Philadelphia Eagles players and staff members as they talk about this game. And honestly, we'll recap the game and we'll get into it. But when a team is this good, it turns into looking forward. You can't help but look forward at what this team could possibly be. Now, speaking of the weather real quick before we get into it, I do want to let you know, this, of course, the remnants of Hurricane Ian. And Hurricane Ian struck Florida as an extremely dangerous Category 4 storm earlier this week, caused catastrophic damage. Thousands of families urgently need support. Your donation can provide meals, shelter, and hope to these families. So please, it would be a huge help. Donate now at 975thefanatic.com/donate. Thank you for that. I appreciate anyone who goes out of their way to do that. And so it was rain for us today. It was a hurricane for them. So if you think about how you felt at the game, and we're going to talk to Andrew Fairmount here in a second, who was at the game. Much worse for Florida, so thoughts and prayers still to them. Back to the football side, though, and talking about a team from Florida in the Jacksonville Jaguars. Man, that's not a team to sleep on. That's a good football team.
They came in with the number 1 rated defense in the NFL, run defense in the NFL.
For sure.
And you dropped 210 yards on them with 4 touchdowns.
Because that's what the Eagles do.
Yes, they do.
And Miles Sanders having a great year, but that's what Jalen Hurts
without your
does
starting left tackle, by the way.
Yes, and without your left guard.
Sayamalu, or right guard. Sayamalu goes out,
Who I forgot about that injury until this point. Yeah, we'll have to see what's going on with him, too. Sayamalu, I don't know. The other guys we kind of saw milling around on the sidelines, don't know what's going on with him. It was an ankle, clearly, because he was holding it when he went down. Looked like he got rolled up on. So Dr. Connor here, they always say, everyone always says, I'm not going to try and play doctor. I'll try and play doctor. I don't know what. I don't have a medical license to forfeit. It looked like he got rolled up on and maybe a high ankle sprain. So hopefully nothing broken. I'm sure he'll get an MRI.
I don't want to assume too much. We'll find out. I really think, I really think being precautionary with some of these guys when it came to coming back in the game
how wet
it is. If you have an ankle injury or something like that, and if it's on the edge of being, hey, this could be something not serious, but like, hey, we got to be careful with this. This could be something a little bit more serious. Why would you send them out there in a Week 4 game against the Jaguars when it's rainy and the field conditions are terrible? So I understand it. We'll find out more. Hopefully nothing is here, more than a week, maybe a couple days. We'll see. We'll find out. So I don't want to assume too much. But for all the injuries that they had in this game, for them to still win as comfortably as they did, because it did feel comfortable. And after the first,
it felt relatively comfortable.
Besides the first quarter, it wasn't comfortable at all in the first quarter.
No.
After that point, I felt comfortable the entire game. They tie it up. They go on. They score 29 straight points. I felt comfortable the entire time.
Halftime on, yeah.
Halftime on, sure. Even after the late surge from the Jaguars, and I think Trevor Lawrence, even though he didn't have the best game today at all, with 4 turnovers, an interception, and 3 fumbles, I still think Trevor Lawrence is a pretty good quarterback in this league.
Yeah, and we're going to hear from Nick Sirianni here right now, who's cutting in on your job, Tommy.
Cool.
Let's talk to the coach.
Nick, what went into the decision to go for it on 4th down late in the game instead of kicking that field goal?
We just had to do what we felt was best in that particular moment with the weather and everything. I don't want to get into anything else really there, and we just felt like that was our best option in that particular case.
What was the feeling on the sidelines when you guys were down 14-0? How did you feel, the guys? Obviously they responded, but what did you feel in the moment?
Felt like we've talked about adversity, right? Have we faced a lot of adversity? Not really, right? In 3 games we probably haven't. We had a battle up there in Detroit, but have we faced a lot of adversity? Not really. And so it was a great opportunity to say, hey, we've talked about this, we've discussed this. You guys are built. You players here, the reason you're here is because you're built to be able to handle adversity. Not every game's going to be pretty. Not every game's going to be. It's going to be muddy sometimes, and it was muddy right there. And our guys just buckled down, and defense I thought was playing well. Yeah, they let up a long drive, but it was 14-0 because we spotted them 7. They made a good play. I don't want to say that we spotted them 7. They made a really good play. They got a good pressure on, and then they made a good play there and finished it for a touchdown. And so, beating down 14-0, it's a long game, right? Just like it's a long season. And what a good example there of like, okay, hey, we're 4-0 right now. You just got to play the next play. And you got to play the next game. And you got to do that same thing in the midst of a game, not just week to week.
As far as the other Miles, what was working for Miles Sanders today? And was the plan?
Miles Sanders is our number 1 back. There ain't no question about it.
Calm down, Coach. And the plan, was it to run as much as you did, or did the conditions factor into that?
Hey, we'll do whatever we need to do to win the football game, and of course, conditions are we're gonna play into that. We look at everything, we take everything into account, and we were running the ball really well. I think that second quarter, our offensive line was rolling, and that's a good defensive line, and I've known that going back to my Indy days. That's a really good defensive line, but our offensive line, I'll take them over anybody in this league. I love that group. They're gritty, they're grimy, they're tough, they're physical, and we had to play some guys today. And you can see what a good job that Coach Stout does of developing guys and getting guys ready to play that might not play. And Jack Driscoll, Sua, right, those guys stepped in and did a really nice job. And I told you this, 9 sacks, you get a game ball defensive line. 200 yards rushing, you get a game ball offensive line. If I had 8 game balls, I would have thrown them out right there. Greg didn't have them ready for me quite yet, though.
Nick, in the final 2 minutes of the first half, this season, all 4 games you've scored. You've actually scored 5 times twice against the Vikings, like 26 points total. What is it about those drives where you guys have been so successful?
Quarterback play, playing really good and really poised in that scenario. We spend a ton of time talking about situational football, a ton. And that's a tribute to the coaches I've been around in the past of how important situational football is and the amount of time you spend on it. You emphasize things and you get things, but don't make no mistake about it. Our players are doing a great job executing it. Shane and Kevin Patullo does a great job of, Kevin does all the kind of the scouting report for it and getting us ready for it and kind of, putting together thoughts for it. And we talk through it. And Shane does a great job calling it in that scenario. And what unbelievable opportunity I have to be able to say, Shane and Kevin, you guys are rolling right here. You got it. Let me handle clock management with our guys upstairs. And we just go. And so that's us being able to say, be able to do that. And then we got really good players executing, right? Our offensive line protects their butt off. In those scenarios, Shane calls it the right way with as far as going for run and then going to pass and this and that. Jalen's in complete control. AJ, Dallas, Devontae, Quez are in that scenario. Kenny Gainwell's our protection back and our scat back in that area. So it's just really good operation by the entire unit. Players first, coaches after that.
Each week, a different part of your offense has contributed, whether it's wide receivers, the offensive line, the running backs. How good is it for you as a coach to kind of know that whatever game situation is, that you can have confidence that you can kind of win in any kind of
I think that's what it is right there, confidence, right? And so some of the fourth down calls right here, I was able to have confidence in our team to go for it, confidence in our offense line, confidence in our backs, confidence in our receivers if we were throwing it or running it, right? Confidence in our defense that if we didn't convert it, that they'd make a stop. So I think you said it right there, is confidence. And it's great when you're able to win different ways, right? It's great when do you ever want to get in a 14-0 hole? That is not ever, it's like, hey, we haven't been in a 14-0 hole. Let's get into, that's not our thought process, but it was great to be able to win different ways. And it's great to be able to win on different units and lean on different units. So great job by those guys today.
Nick, you have to send a message with the environment.
I'll come back, Ellie.
What does it tell you about the quarterback? I mean, you saw Trevor turn it over 5 times. Obviously, really difficult weather. What does that say about Jalen Hurts to be able to play?
He knows how important it is to take care of the football, and he can do it, right? And he can go out there and execute and take care of the football. So it's huge, because that's such a key. It's such a key to winning and losing games, and I think that even elevates when it's messy outside. And so it was great that he was able to execute under the conditions that we were in, because it was messy out there. It was really messy, and I know Howie talked to me, asked me after the game. He's like, did it get worse during the game? And I'm like, yeah, it got a lot worse. And it got messy, and the ball got a little bit wet. But our players are communicating with us what they think here and there. To have guys like Jason Kelsey, Lane Johnson, Isaac, those guys are able to communicate with you, tell you what's working, feel what's working, how the defense is playing. That's huge.
Nick, you often use your T-shirts to send messages. I see you have the Rockford High School shirt on. What's kind of your message to them with that?
I grew up going, one of my best memories growing up is, being able to do the things that I was able to do on the football field as a little kid, whether that's pretending I'm Marcus Allen and jumping over the pile and setting the dummies up and jumping over the pile, taking a handoff, or if it was giving a player a water bottle. I looked up to certain guys there. Obviously I looked up to Mike Sirianni and Jay Sirianni. That was the starting quarterback, starting wide receiver. I looked up to Pete Conley, who was starting fullback and halfback. I looked up to John Briggs, who was my brother's best friend and his receiver, and to be able to hand them a water bottle and say, and so I have so many vivid memories about that, and I just feel bad for the kids that they didn't feel safe, maybe don't feel safe going there, and so my heart goes out to them. My thoughts and prayers go out to them, and hopefully they feel safe going back and playing a game that can help take us out of bad situations, not put us in bad situations.
Your interactions with Doug Mike.
I have so much respect for Coach Peterson. He first and foremost, I've heard that he's one of the best people in this game, and from multiple outlets, people in this building, the people that have played for him, people that I know that have coached with him, that he's a top-notch person. And obviously you see what he's doing with his football team. He's got this football team. You're doing a good job being quiet, buddy. He's doing a good job with this football team, and that's a tough team. That's a good football team, and he's got them confident and believing. And so interactions with him are just I like to tell it when I feel like a guy's a really good coach and's got a really good team. I like to tell him, best compliment I can get is like, hey, your team is really well coached, and so I like to pay that compliment to guys that I believe that about. And there's no doubt in my mind the Jacksonville Jaguars are really well coached and in really good hands with Coach Peterson.
Hassan Reddick, you've been telling us to wait for it, and finally it came. How incredible was it to see him have the game that he had?
You know what's great about Hassan, and how he was just talking to me about this, he's a guy that has been able to force a lot of fumbles. Not only get to the quarterback, but force a lot of fumbles. And, we talk so much about creating turnovers and how you create turnovers. And there's definitely things we can do as coaches to take it to another level. But make no mistake about it, it's about the players creating the turnovers. And good players know how to create turnovers. And Hassan, man... And I said to him and Sean Bradley and Kaiser White after the game, like, hey, there ain't nothing like winning in Philly, because they know about that, right? And they know about especially Hassan and Sean playing here at Temple, and they're quick to tell me at Temple they had college game day here, stuff like that. And so it ain't nothing like winning in Philly, and I'm glad we got some Philly guys here that we're winning with.
All right, thanks.
Thanks.
All right, that was head coach Nick Sirianni and his son.
And his kid,
who was sitting on his lap.
Very well behaved, as he mentioned.
Say, good job being quiet, buddy. Number one dad, number one coach, all-around great guy, Nick Sirianni, and almost more important, more impactful to me than what he was saying is what we heard going on in the background.
Oh, my God.
It's not like he was in a nightclub.
Absolutely.
Those guys are juiced up, man. They're
As
excited.
they should be.
It's a party in the locker room right now at the link. You can hear it. There's a couple Instagram lives going on right now. If you follow some of the players' accounts, it looks like they're having a good time, as they should.
Absolutely.
It's a great win. It's good work by him. Couple things he said. First off, didn't need the yelling, coach.
Blowing out my eardrums.
Miles Sanders is our number one back. Okay. That settles that.
Well, there were questions about it coming in the season, and can he gain well? And they make the Trey Sermon acquisition, who had 2 nice runs today. But there were talks about it, and Miles Sanders has gone out there and proved to everyone that he is the RB1 of this team. Yeah, he deserves a contract next season. So far, who knows if it's with this team? We'll get into that discussion much later on as the year goes on and everything like that. But right now, he's proving that he earned another contract, a second contract in this league as a running back, which is really tough to do through 4 games at least.
Yeah, for sure. He definitely has. And clearly, because we've had questions about in the past, the running back rotation, like why isn't Sanders in on these drives? He makes some late game, like fumbling mistakes or going out of bounds when he shouldn't, or staying in bounds when he should get out of bounds.
Mental lapse.
And it's like, does his coaching staff trust him? It seems like he's won him over, or at least won Nick Sirianni over. He
won me over today.
Clearly. Oh, well, yeah.
5 yards a carry on 27 carries with 2 touchdowns.
Yeah, it's really, really good work by Miles Sanders. He's been exceptional so far this year. Another thing that was interesting, and it's what the first thing that we heard from Coach Sirianni there was about facing adversity and how he was saying how they hadn't faced adversity yet. And he's really right. I mean, Detroit had that late comeback, but the Eagles were up the whole time.
And that's more on the defense, more so than the offense. Obviously, the offense has to go out there and put up points and yards and milk the clock, but that's more so on the defense in week 1 with Detroit coming back. This was a whole team thing, being down 14-0.
Exactly. And then you look at Minnesota in week 2 in the home opener. No adversity there. They smoked them. Washington, 9 sacks and kind of handled them 24-8. Like, that's a really comfortable win. Yeah, then you get down 14-0. And that's why, even though, like, people are going to say, and the national narrative, and it won't be the national narrative because the national media is very much on the Eagles right now. You can't turn on SportsCenter without seeing some story about the Philadelphia Eagles are undefeated. Jalen Hurts is this, that, and the other thing, and that's awesome. I love when the Eagles get that national spotlight. But if there's detractors from the Philadelphia Eagles, they're going to say the schedule. Here's the thing, though, right? You can get 14-0 down to 14-0 to any team in the NFL. You can wake up on any day and get punched in the mouth, whether it's at home, whether it's because of the weather, whether it's because you run into a team that's doing stuff real well. Maybe it's a fluky pick six that, not the best throw, of course, by Jalen Hurts, but one that gets tipped up and then returned. Like, anything can happen. So even though the schedule looks easy on paper, well, you got to go back and look at these games and say, hey, they stopped the late run by the Detroit Lions. Hey, that Minnesota Vikings team is pretty darn good, and they shut down Justin Jefferson. Hey, the Washington Commanders stink, and Carson Wentz is awful, but they're a football team. And this week, well, you went down 14-0 to the Jaguars, who are a quality football team, believe it or not. even though I told you either last week or a couple weeks ago to not bet on the Jaguars, and they ended up shutting out the Colts. That's a quality football team in Jacksonville, even though we're not used to hearing that. It's adversity that they faced, and Nick Sirianni was clearly aware that it was the first time his team had faced that. He seemed almost happy that they ran into that situation because you want your team to be tested. And they were tested today, and they passed with flying colors.
Yeah, they absolutely did. For them to respond the way they did was so big. And that points to me, and Nick Sirianni said it, to the leadership of this team. It's not only Jalen Hurts, who is, now that he's playing this well, who's everyone's favorite player in the city, it seems like at this point. Not only is it Nick Sirianni, who is such a likable guy, it's the veteran leadership that you have on this team that even though you're down, even though you have these injuries, guys like Jason Kelsey, guys like Lane Johnson, Fletcher Cox, and hey, relax, guys. We got this. There's a lot of game left. There is 3.5 quarters left in this game. Let's respond. And they took advantage of opportunities that were there. They did what good teams were do. When they see a ball that's kind of thrown a bit like a duck, James Bradbury goes out and takes advantage of that, makes a huge play. The defensive line just having pressure on Trevor Lawrence the entire time, trying to go for the strip on when they see an opportunity when the ball's being out in the open like that. And Hassan Reddick today had 2 strip sacks. Shut a lot of people up because even though he didn't have the best 2 games, he's responded very well. I think he had a sack and a half last game, has 2 sacks today, 2 strip sacks. They just took advantage of the opportunity. They were cool. They were calm. They were poised. They've won in different ways, and they went out there and proved to us once again that at least right now through 4 weeks, this is a damn good football team.
You're absolutely right it is. 610-632-0975. Taking all of your reactions as we wait for Jalen Hurts to come to the podium. Let's check in with Andrew in Fairmount next, who was at the game. Andrew, you're on 97.5 The Fanatic.
Hey, what's going on, Connor and Tom?
How you doing, man?
How are you?
I'm doing well. Hey, I just want to let you guys know I really appreciate your dialogue. I feel like it's on point. Like, you guys are just talking about facts, not getting emotional about the game. Just want to thank you guys for
I appreciate that.
Yeah, thank you, man.
Thank you for listening.
Dude, Nick Sirianni is the man.
He really is, isn't he?
I wanted to be my new dad. I want to be able to sit next to him at press conferences. He's great. I wanted to coach me in life. He's awesome.
He's just a guy who it's like, yeah, I would go to battle with that guy. Yeah, all day. So I was at the game. I'll tell you what, I don't know. I don't even know a better way to say it, but the go down 14-0 in the elements. I just got home and I feel beat up and I wasn't even playing.
Yeah, dude, it's a tough
like
day
you just
to be
played
out
4
there.
quarters out there, yeah.
Yeah, and I was the DD for my buddies, so I was like,
oh, dude, you were sober for that? Now, everyone, drive responsibly, get the ride home. That's good on you. But, man, how'd you sit through that game without a beer?
Great job by you.
I just want to make sure my buddies had a good time. But
that's nice.
You know, it was. I'll tell you what. What a character. That Jaguars team. That's a good team, guys. That's not. I'll tell you what. I place one big bet before every year, and I bet on them to win the division.
That's looking like a good bet right now for you.
Because they actually have a legit adult in the room at head coach, Doug Peterson, and we all love Doug here. And Trevor Lawrence, he was a #1 pick for a reason. That kid has a ton of talent. The D-line's great. So, yeah, that wouldn't shock me if they won the AFC South this year. Not at all.
Exactly. And I'll tell you what, I think if it wasn't raining, and I was in Florida, actually, I had to come home. So, luckily, I had to come home because of the hurricane. And
glad you're safe, man. Sure.
I was able to go to the game. But, yeah, they if it wasn't raining and windy today, it could have been a completely different game, completely different outcome. You know, if you think about it, we won by 8, and we got in control after we were down 14-0. But Trevor Lawrence fumbled the ball 4 times today?
3 fumbles, I think he had off the top of my head.
Yeah, so 3 fumbles. So
4. No, sorry, 4 fumbles. You were right. My bad.
He fumbled 4 times. 3 fumbles and a pick. No.
No, I see it reading it right here. Wow. 4 fumbles, 4 fumbles lost, and an interception.
I tweeted out that he's Trevor Wentz.
Yeah.
That's what he looked like.
Yeah. So if you think about it, if it wasn't raining and he doesn't fumble, because that's what it looked like just sitting in the stands. It looked like he just couldn't get a grip on the ball. So if he doesn't fumble as well, we might have a completely different game. And not to take it like I'm a diehard Eagles fan, don't get me wrong. And, there was a huge character win, but might have been a different game if it wasn't the elements that they were experiencing today. But anyway, I'll let you guys go. I just want to let you know I appreciate you. And
appreciate the call. Appreciate you listening and everything, and appreciate you sitting through that game. You get a hot shower.
That's a good friend right there.
Yeah, DD in this weather.
In this weather at this game. That is a good friend right there.
And it's a good point he makes about the elements. We're going to talk about that. Remind me to bring that up with Tim McManus when we talk to him and what factor that really played in the game, because that was certainly it. We're going to hear from QB1, currently the best player in the NFC right now, for my money, Jalen Hurts, coming up on the other side. We'll hear his post-game media availability. So we've got that coming up next. We'll talk to Tim McManus later in the program. We'll have your reactions. 610-632-0975. So much big stuff still to come here on our Eagles post-game coverage. It's Connor Thomas, Tom Alvord. We're right back with you next here on 97.5 The Fanatic.
97.5 The Fanatic.
Hi guys, it's Andrew with Oak Hills Medical Clinic. Are you struggling with ED and sick of the pills? Well, we have a major medical breakthrough that has helped thousands of men. Our wave technology is backed by 50 clinical studies, including from Cambridge University. It's proven to increase blood flow by repairing blood vessels. No pills and no side effects. If you're ready to put a stop to your ED and turn back the clock in the bedroom, call us now. And not only will the assessment and blood flow ultrasound be free, we'll also include something unique that produces immediate results in the bedroom. I don't think I've ever heard of it failing. This offer is worth $600, but it's free to those that call in the next 2 minutes. 215-302-9999. That's 215-302-9999. Guys, put a stop to your ED and get your love life back. Call Oak Hills Medical Clinic now to qualify for this unprecedented offer. 215-302-9999.
Hey guys, football season, it's underway. It's Bob Cooney here, and it's the perfect time to download FanDuel in partnership with Valley Forge, America's #1 sportsbook. New customers get a no-sweat first bet up to $1,000. That's free bets back if your first bet doesn't win. Just sign up with promo code Bob. You know I love the way FanDuel has my favorite bets, from the money line to point spreads, and I just can't stop doing player props. I can combine bets for a chance at a bigger payout with same-game parlay. And with live betting, I get updated odds on games that have already started. And most importantly, when I win, which is often, I get paid fast. All on an app that's safe, secure, and super easy to use. Sign up with promo code Bob for your no-sweat first bet. That's promo code Bob. Make every moment more this season with FanDuel, official sportsbook partner of the NFL.
21 plus and present in PA. First online real money wager only. Refund issued as non-withdrawable free bets that expires in 14 days. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Hey, this is Brian, and I'm the owner of Valley Grove Construction. We are expanding our team and hiring skilled and creative carpenters. As a company that truly values its talented carpenters, we prove it with top dollar pay starting at $30 an hour, a healthy work-life balance, an aggressive 401k plan, a generous vacation package, paid holidays, and even a $100 weekly travel allowance. You heard me right. That's over $5,000 a year to help with gas and vehicle expenses. If you're interested in a variety of carpentry work like framing additions, setting kitchen cabinets, tiling bathrooms, basement remodeling, and historical restoration, then apply today at valleygroveconstruction.com and click the Join Our Team link. If you're tired of not working with great people, not doing the skilled work that you're capable of, or maybe you're self-employed and you're just tired of chasing down all of your suppliers for the materials that seem to never come in, then apply today at valleygroveconstruction.com. That's valleygroveconstruction.com and click the Join Our Team link.
Can I get the sales projections for the Springfield, Bristol, and Fairview stores?
Val's Froyo Palace is dishing out 3 more locations.
Jody, have you lined up interviews?
They need 3 new store managers before they have a meltdown.
And remember, they need at least 5 years experience.
Indeed can help them hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. We instantly connect you with quality candidates whose resumes on Indeed match your job description. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Hurricane Ian is affecting the lives of millions. The American Red Cross is there now, working with local efforts to provide emergency shelter, food, and supplies for the thousands of evacuees. And they'll be there after the storm for those who will have lost it all. This station is part of the Beasley Best community of caring. To make a donation and to learn how you can help the American Red Cross disaster relief, emergency, and recovery efforts, go to bbgi.com/donate.
It's sweater weather, a time of falling leaves, falling temperatures, and rising tensions over control of the thermostat. Fortunately, you can get special financing offers and rebates right now on a new high-efficiency heating and cooling system from American Standard with a whole house air filtration system to keep the air you breathe clean and safe. To find an independent Delaware Valley American Standard Heating and Air Conditioning customer care dealer near you, visit AmericanStandardAir.com. Built to a higher standard. Subject to credit approval, see dealer for details.
For over 35 years, Health Partners Plans has been proudly caring for people in the community. Our nationally recognized Medicaid plan offers a growing network of doctors and hospitals so you can get care close to home. Health Partners can help you get the care you need, including doctor and hospital visits, prescriptions, immunizations, eye and dental care, and more. To learn more, please call 1-800-553-0784 or visit hpplans.com. Health Partners, trusted care where and when you need it.
The opioids I was prescribed made me feel worse.
I was pregnant, addicted, and scared.
I thought painkillers would get me back on the field faster. I was wrong.
Then I heard about 844-REACH-NJ.
I got into treatment and delivered a healthy baby girl.
844-REACH-NJ was the call I needed to make.
I'm glad I made the call.
I made the call.
Hello, REACH-NJ.
If you or someone you love is struggling with addiction, call 844-REACH-NJ from the New Jersey Department of Human Services.
Progressive presents Married to Your Home.
I'm such a screw-up.
What? House? Why would you talk like that?
How are you even with a house without a walk-in closet?
Stop. You have more than enough storage.
Oh yeah, and the unfinished basement. Gross.
We'll finish it eventually. Together.
No matter how much you already love your house, you'll love it more knowing you could save big bundling your home and auto with Progressive. Coverage from Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and third-party insurers. Bundle discount not available in all states or situations.
Hey, to become the next generation of innovators, entrepreneurs, and creators, we're gonna need some things.
Like a high-speed internet connection that can turn my ideas into reality.
Like the skills to become the world's most powerful coder.
Like the tools to start my sustainable shoe business.
You just heard some of the millions of students Comcast is supporting through Project Up, our comprehensive initiative and $1 billion commitment to open doors for the next generation so they can build a future of unlimited possibilities. Learn more at comcast.com/projectup.
Get in zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today? Thinking about gas mileage. You know, an oil change with full synthetic oil like Valvoline Advance can help your engine get more miles. Right now, you can get 5 quarts with an STP Extended Life oil filter for only $36.99. Find your solution for better fuel efficiency today at any of our 6,200 stores or on AutoZone.com.
Get in zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
Is sports betting about to become way more fun? You bet. Because the BetParks app has a brand new sports book. Live bets and parlays? You bet. Instant deposits and incredible app experience? You bet. Plus, your first bet is risk-free up to $750. So, are you already a winner just for signing up on the BetParks Sportsbook app? You bet. BetParks. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Terms and conditions apply. Pennsylvania and New Jersey only.
SEPTA and the BetParks Casino and Sportsbook app have something special for fans all season long. Free rides home from every Birds home game. Fans ride home free from every home game on SEPTA's Broad Street line from NRG Station, courtesy of the BetParks Casino and Sportsbook app. Free rides begin at halftime of every home game. Join the fun on the BetParks Casino and Sportsbook app by downloading now at betparks.com. Free rides and all about the fans from SEPTA and BetParks. Must be 21 and in Pennsylvania or New Jersey. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
WPEN Burlington, Philadelphia, a Beasley Media Group station, home of the most entertaining sports talk in Philadelphia. 97.5, The Fanatic, Philadelphia.
Just past 5 o'clock, we're into happy hour, but listen, when the Eagles play like this, every hour is happy hour. It's Connor Thomas, Tom Alvord. We have all of your post-game reaction. We're going to get to Jalen Hurts' post-game media availability in just a second. I do want to let you know this weekend's programming is brought to you by Stretch Zone. Want to relieve sore muscles, increase your flexibility and range of motion? Book your free 30-minute stretch session today at stretchzone.com. Maybe Trevor Lawrence needs that after diving for so many fumbles on the ground today. You might have to give a call over there to the Stretch Zone and see if they can do anything.
That'd be a smart move by him.
That'd be nice. If you were at that game, maybe you need to check that out because you're sitting stiff in the rain and the cold and everything like that. But we've heard already from a couple people, great work by them. Now, this man was 16 for 25 today, 204 yards. No touchdowns thrown, but an interception given up and a big rushing touchdown that was Man, that was tough. That got me up out of my seat. Let's hear from Eagles quarterback Jalen Hurts at his post-game media availability.
Jalen, to start down 14-0 and to come back the way you guys did. Just talk about what changed or the composure you guys had, or was a combination of two things that you guys have did.
You know, that makes me think about how we've been kind of been the thought of how we've played in the second half and in the first quarter of this season. And my answer to the lack of points in the second half has always been just got to execute. We just got to do our job. Control what we can, execute, and do our job. And I think that's the mentality we have as a football team, regardless of the circumstance. Up 14-0, down 14-0, you control what you can. Do your job and execute, dominate your box individually. You tend to do good things. And I think today this team didn't flinch. We found a way. We didn't flinch. We persevered. We were unwavering in how we played. Nothing was able to deny us. And I'm so proud of how this team played, how we handled the conditions outside. You got crosswinds going 20 to 30 miles per hour. It's in the 50s, and it's just raining sideways. And we're able to be pretty efficient in everything that we did. That's a great team win.
Was there a conscious decision to lean heavily on the run game, even though early on, I guess, there was some struggle there getting yards?
I just think we did what we did. I think what we have to realize about this football team is we can be efficient in everything that we do. That can be running the ball, passing the ball, defensively. That's our goal. That's our goal, to be efficient in everything that we do. We look at this game and we see there's some bad in it. We see that there are some things that can definitely be fixed. But we also look at this and we found out a lot about this football team, I think, just in terms of being able to persevere, being steadfast, and, controlling what we could. We controlled what we could today, and, good things happening in.
When's the last time you played a game with that kind of weather?
Well, I always joke about not ever getting rain, but I don't know if I could avoid a hurricane. So, yeah, my sophomore year in high school is probably the last time I had something like that.
This is the first time you guys have lost starters to injuries during the game on both sides of the ball. But how do you think the O-line kind of came together after you lost Isaac and Jordan?
Yeah, I look at Jack and I look at Opeta, and those are two guys that have always kind of, since I've been here at least, always come in and been able to play at a high level. Always being ready when their phone rings and they answer, ready to go. And defensively, Tay going down and Scott coming up and playing his tail off defensively. Everybody's just doing what they need to do. And I think as a football team, I think that's what we did. I think, the mentality throughout the week is what prepared us for this environment today. To be in this circumstance today and be able to overcome it. I think that's a testament to how we work, how we think. We'll enjoy it.
On the fourth down touchdown run, what's the approach or the thinking there, knowing the linebackers there waiting to hit you?
Get in. Make a way. Nothing more than that. I appreciate the trust and Coach Sirianni allowing us to, we were in and Coach Doug was in a lot of those situations too. But in positions where it was fourth down, fourth and long, fourth and medium maybe, and we went for it. And I think that's just Coach Sirianni trust and trusting me in the offense. And some we hit, some we didn't, but we hit enough.
In boxing, they say that styles make fights. This offense is able to win in any concept with running game, passing game. Can you talk about how much of a comfort is that to you, knowing that you can play in any style?
Well, I think I think that's just a testament to how we work, what we do, and I think being able to be multi-dimensional as an offense, having an identity of just executing, trying to execute with consistency. Whatever it's called, that's what we try and go out there and do. The game changes, the intent and what we want to accomplish may change, but it's about finding a way in every guy on the field, all 11, doing their job.
What was Miles able to do to kind of take advantage of?
Oh, I think we lost him. Well, that was Jalen Hurts. Eagles quarterback Jalen Hurts said a couple good things there. We got the classic cliche from him that we always get.
Yeah, he's a cliche.
When the phone rings, make sure you're there to answer it. We got a joke from Jalen Hurts that he doesn't think he can avoid a hurricane. Which, listen, man, he keeps running the way he does. He might be able to. I don't know, or he might run straight through it like he did on that touchdown run. But basically the same thing from Hurts. Faith in the backup lineman. Really, just I don't know. What more do you want him to say? Like after the win and how he's played, there's not really all that much that you want him to say because you're seeing it on the field. He's letting his actions speak for himself. Maybe they asked him a little bit later, but we didn't hear it there about the standard because he constantly talks about, at least the past 3 weeks, he's talked about, we still haven't reached that standard. And tomorrow, I'm very excited to see the post-game locker room speech by both Jalen Hurts and Nick Sirianni, see what they said to the team. But just as advertised, Jalen Hurts there in the media availability, nothing too groundbreaking, but clearly a very confident guy, comfortable in any style, which is what he was getting into in that last question, and playing at a really, really high peak of his game right now.
Yeah, no. I mean, he's never going to give you anything groundbreaking in a post-game media or anything like that, or midweek, whatever it may be.
Every once in a while, you get like the coffee bean comment that goes a little wild. Or
flush it. What was that one last year?
Yeah,
whatever.
You don't look at it, you just flush it. Or whatever
yes, correct. So you're always going to get some things here or there, but I mean, he's been trained so well by Nick Saban and his dad being a head coach growing up. He knows what to say in certain times. He has the coach speak down, QB speak down. But listen, I mean, I love to see him not being like too excited, flashing his chain, getting all excited.
He's not that guy, though.
No, but I kind of like that because that tells me that he's not going to let the team get too overly excited. You know, and I don't want to get too crazy into that because I think these guys are professionals. When it comes down to it, they go out there and they do what they're supposed to do. But that just shows it's another aspect of how good of a leader Jalen Hurts can be, especially when he's playing at the level he's playing at right now. Between Nick Sirianni, between Jalen Hurts, I just trust, because that's going to be the biggest talking point going forward now, is how does this team respond? How do they respond to being 4-0? How do they respond to being 3-0? Whatever it may. How do they respond being first in the NFC East and being Super Bowl favorites and all this? How do they respond to that? When I see and hear the things I get from Nick Sirianni and from Jalen Hurts, I have faith that there's enough leadership on this team in every area on this team that they are not going to let guys get too in over their heads, get too ahead of themselves, and too excited, looking too far ahead. And I think it's going to be one drive at a time, one pass at a time, one game at a time mentality for the foreseeable future and probably the rest of the season. And I love that.
Yeah, and listen, I think he's a great coach, Nick Sirianni. I do. I think he's doing everything perfectly well this year. He's amazing. This is not a knock on Nick Sirianni, right? But it's kind of interesting, too, when you look at the differences in personality between quarterback and coach. It's a great marriage of leadership. Nick Sirianni is that guy that's going to be super excited, that's going to be yelling left and right and get amped up, and he's excited to put on his Brandon Graham T-shirt in the morning, which is cool, and you love that. And he's clearly embraced his city, and when you're winning, that's a great thing. And it's fun to have a fun head coach, right? Not that Jalen Hurts is not a fun guy, but Jalen Hurts is a fun guy in the way that Kawhi Leonard is a fun guy. He's fun to watch play, but he's not going to give you much personality, at least to the media and to us or anything like that. We'll see it in the locker room speeches, but when he talks to the media, it's a good balance, though, because Hurts is so calm and measured, and you know he's keeping these guys grounded and keeping himself grounded because that's how he was brought up and how he was taught, and clearly great head on his shoulders, and now he's got great game to match it. And Sirianni is the fiery, passionate, maybe overexcited at times, maybe fanboyish at times, and the balance between the two of them, it's a great marriage. And hopefully it can go on for a long time. Like, we're looking at this, not only does this feel like a great win today, right? But correct me if I'm wrong, Tom, this feels like sustainable success. This feels like a team that's going to continue to do this, not that they're going to go 17-0 and win every game and never have down times and never have trouble. But I'm saying year in and year out, this looks like a very repeatable formula with guys that you can trust and an organization that's putting the right players on the field. It's a great time to be a Philadelphia Eagles fan.
I mean, when you have, that's all you can really ask for when it comes to the NFL is have a stable head coaching position and have a stable quarterback. Right now, we have stability in both of those areas. And it helps also when you have guys locked up long-term, young guys locked up long-term. You have Jordan Mailata. You have still Landon Dickerson on his rookie contract. You have Devontae Smith on his rookie contract. You have guys locked up long-term in key positions. Darius Slay, A.J. Brown locked up long-term. And, oh, by the way, you have the draft picks and a GM who I know got a lot of there was a lot of mean things and bad things and things we can't say on this radio station about Howie Roseman in the past couple years, but he's been good the past 2 years, really good, setting this team up for success not only now in the present, but in the future as well. Did you see the Saints today? They're a top 5 pick right now. Guess who that belongs to?
Woo!
The Philadelphia Eagles,
baby.
who are the last undefeated team in football, who look like one of the best teams in the NFL.
Let's go draft C.J. Stroud, quarterback factory.
I'm just going to... I'm going to ignore that comment, but you're just set up so well for the present. You're set up so well for the long term. Now it all depends on Jalen Hurts being able to come. If he has a couple bad games, people are going to make adjustments. Defensive head coaches are going to make adjustments, and he has to respond to those. But right now, there's not a ton to be angry about, to be upset about when it comes to being a Philadelphia Eagles fan for the present and for the future.
There's absolutely not. 610-632-0975. Going back to the phones in just a second. But one thing, talking about the game, one of the comments a lot of people had on Twitter and that we heard and we talked about it a little bit too on the pick six, the A.J. Brown effort on the tackle looked lacking in that he didn't make an effort to tackle the guy at all. And a lot of people were upset about that on social media at the time. It was to make it 7-0, and you're like, man, it's kind of like a weak effort.
And Mailata gets hurt on that play later on while he's trying to chase him down, which doesn't hurt anyway.
Didn't really have all that much.
I know, but you see that on Twitter right away.
And Philadelphia, we know it's a big effort city. Like, it doesn't matter how good you are. Jimmy Rollins got reamed out for not running hard in this city, and he's a fringe Hall of Famer. Like, it doesn't matter how good you are. We like hustle. We like effort. Well, AJ put out a nice tweet. First off, this shows that he understands. He sees the commentary. He feels the need to respond to the fan base, which I think is a great thing for a player. Not always a great thing. Not in the Jalen Reagor sense of responding to the fan base where you're constantly tweeting at people who say you stink, but acknowledging things and knowing that
owning up to something too.
Exactly. And knowing the power that a fan base like Philadelphia has in this city and the perspective and everything. He tweeted out, lack of effort, no, never. Bad decision, yes. LOL, my thought process was to strip the ball and get it back because defensive guys don't know how to carry the ball, but I got blocked. I'll just tackle him next time. LOL, forgive me. With a nice SpongeBob SquarePants gif to go along with it of him pleading for forgiveness. It's just like...
He gets it because he doesn't have to do that. And I know A.J. Brown's very prominent on Twitter and he likes having his tweets. He does it a ton. And I think that's cool. And it's especially cool when you're 4-0 and he's looking like the best receiver we've had here since Terrell Owens. But I appreciate that as well, where, hey, I made a mistake in this situation. I had a great game afterwards, which we don't talk about at all. 5 catches, 95 yards.
That's pretty darn good.
In a hurricane,
you're going to go well
Jalen
over
Hurts
1,000
mentioned.
yards this year.
It's incredible. But he could have went out there and been like, I had 95 yards. What are you talking about? Who cares about one play? No, he goes out there and owns it. It's just on a tweet. That's fine. But just another reason that this team is likable, and it's so easy to buy into this team when they are 4-0 and you have players like this.
It really is. And that also shows that he knows he's not above critique, which is important because sometimes, let's liken this back to, by the way, the last time the Eagles were 4-0. 2004. And speaking of 2004, there was a wide receiver on that team.
Yes, there was.
That was pretty darn good that maybe might have at points felt like he was a little bit above critique or a bit of an ego. Shocking to say about Terrell Owens, but a little bit of an ego there. And not to say A.J. Brown doesn't necessarily have a bit of an ego. We don't know that.
See the always open sign in front of his locker.
Exactly. But the fact that he shows that he's not above critique is something that not every athlete has in them. So good work by him.
Even after getting paid, too. This isn't a guy on his last year of his deal who's, I want to get my money. I want to say all the right things, do all the right things. No, this guy's paid and he's set up. His grandkids, his great-grandkids are set up for their futures, and he still goes out there and owns up to it and performs on the field with having almost half of the receiving yards that Jalen Hurts passed for.
Absolutely. And as long as the Eagles keep winning and he keeps going close to 100 yards every game, man, we're cool, AJ. We're cool. Let's go back to the phones and check in with Rick and Easton. Rick, you're on 97.5 The Fanatic. Oh, I lost him. I accidentally put up George from Mount Airy, so we're going to call an audible there. Kill. George and Mount Airy, you're up on 97.5 The Fanatic. George, you there?
Yes.
All right,
Hey,
you're
what's
on the
up,
air,
George? How are you, man?
Sorry about that.
You're good. That's on me. I called an audible real quick. I didn't get the check in. The crowd noise was loud. It's cool. What do you got on the game, George?
Okay, I want to start off saying I don't judge any football team until week 6. Ours, any team until week 6, because I feel 6 games is a good enough showing of a team to see what type of team we have.
Yeah, I tend to agree with that. I like that. It is still very early on in the season.
Right. But when and I also want to say this is the game that I wanted to see. Not that we going against our old head coach that helped us win our first Super Bowl, but the game where adversity kicks in. You're down 2 scores, and your quarterback has an interception. Like, not too many teams and not too many quarterbacks, even coaches, know how to come back from it and win not just convincingly, but show that, all right, this is starting to look like a team that nobody else in the league, wants to play. Like, it happens. Like, it's looking like, you see the Eagles, like, they not playing. Like,
they've gone from good to scary, right, George? Like, they're good football teams where it's like if you're another good team, okay, cool, we'll run into them, we'll see who's better. This is a team that people are not going to want to play.
And we haven't hit the playoffs yet, but I am anticipating for when we hit the playoffs because I want to see. I need to see. I'm not saying the Super Bowl right now. That's just not me. I hope so, but I want to see this team in the playoffs. I'm still waiting for week 6. There's still some this team is showing me that this is a for real team.
Yeah, George, listen.
The adversity that happened today, this is exactly what I needed to see. This especially this defense. This defense.
It was great by them.
It's just just a side note. I have this defense on my fantasy team. So
I'm playing. I'm playing against them this week, George. So I'm not as happy about that as you are. But I'm happy for you.
Yeah, I mean, look, I don't know. I had that feeling when I was drafting.
Yeah, listen, man, they've been good, and appreciate the call. George just up against the break. Man, he's confident. He saw what he needed to see, and he brings up a good point when people talk about the weak schedule too. Like, you can say it's a weak schedule if you want. I don't think that's factual because I think Minnesota's a pretty darn good football team. They won this morning out in London, across the pond. Cheerio. And I think Jacksonville is a better football team than a lot of people have given them credit for to this point. I think at some point this year, people are going to realize how good the Jaguars are.
And the Lions as well.
Yeah, the Lions they just don't know how to win yet, but they've been in a lot of games already. But here's the thing. Eventually, they're going to be tested because you win enough, you're going to make it into the playoffs, you're going to see a good team. And then we'll find out. And that was something George brought up as well.
I think he also brought up that he seemed a little hesitant to get too excited too quick, even though he wanted to. And I think that's a lot of people's out there's feelings as well. We're like, we see how good
let
this
yourself
is.
be excited a little bit. Take your pants off. Have a good time.
There's a difference between being excited and being really, really excited. And that's what this Eagles football team is making a lot of people feel right now, where it's like, man, this is giving people out there 2017 vibes. I've seen that all over Twitter. This feels like 2017. And it's hard not to feel that way. I'm not letting myself get there right yet. George isn't either, because it is still very early on in the season. It is week 4. But everything I've seen from this football team through the first 4 weeks of the season makes it feel like this team is a legit team and makes this all feel real. To me.
Yes.
And it's hard not to get excited.
That is a right feeling.
Excited.
We should be excited. We're going to continue to be excited. And you know what else you should be excited for? We have Tim McManus coming up on the other side. He's going to join us coming up after this break, right at 5:30. We're going to talk to him about a bunch of stuff, figure out what's going on with the injuries, figure out how the vibe was in the locker room, what he saw during what was a rainy, messy, weather-wise
miserable
game.
day.
a very interesting game in a lot of aspects. So we'll get the number one source for all of your Eagles information, Tim McManus, ESPN's own. He'll join us on the other side. We'll discuss that, and we'll have more of your reactions. 610-632-0975. It's Connor Thomas. It's Tom Alvord, and we'll be right back with you here on 97.5 The Fanatic.
97.5 The Fanatic.
Hey, this is Brian, and I'm the owner of Valley Grove Construction. We are expanding our team and hiring skilled and creative carpenters. As a company that truly values its talented carpenters, we prove it with top dollar pay starting at $30 an hour, a healthy work-life balance, an aggressive 401k plan, a generous vacation package, paid holidays, and even a $100 weekly travel allowance. You heard me right. That's over $5,000 a year to help with gas and vehicle expenses. If you're interested in a variety of carpentry work like framing additions, setting kitchen cabinets, tiling bathrooms, basement remodeling, and historical restoration, then apply today at valleygroveconstruction.com and click the Join Our Team link. If you're tired of not working with great people, not doing the skilled work that you're capable of, or maybe you're self-employed and you're just tired of chasing down all of your suppliers for the materials that seem to never come in, then apply today at valleygroveconstruction.com. That's valleygroveconstruction.com and click the Join Our Team link.
I'd like to see the doctor for a few questions about medical marijuana.
Sir, the doctor is booked solid today and tomorrow and next week. Can you come back in 3 weeks?
Wait. Just to talk about a medical marijuana card, I have to wait 3 weeks?
No, sir. Just between us, no one has to wait. I got my own medical marijuana card sitting at my kitchen table through VeriHeal.com. It was quick, professional, and so easy.
VeriHeal.com?
VeriHeal.com. They have a library of medical marijuana facts and scientific research to browse. And you can pre-qualify for a card online in minutes.
Great. But I still have questions.
You can easily talk to a doctor right there online. Everything is private and secure.
For reliable cannabis information and to pre-qualify online, join VeriHeal's millions of satisfied clients at VeriHeal.com. Get started today with easy financing. Pay only if you qualify. VeriHeal.com.
Hey guys, it's Andrew. Football season is underway. It's the perfect time to download FanDuel in partnership with Valley Forge, America's #1 sportsbook. New customers get a no-sweat first bet up to $1,000. That's free bets back if your first bet doesn't win. Just sign up with promo code Fanatic. You know I love FanDuel Sportsbook. I can bet on all kinds of stuff, like the money line, like the spread, or you can look at even some season-long odds. How about Jalen Hurts skyrocketing for the MVP? Probably won't touch that just yet, but if you want to look at the birds to maybe win the NFC East, maybe to go to the big game, you can check that out as well. All on this app. It's safe, secure, and super easy to use. Sign up with promo code Fanatic for your no-sweat first bet. That's promo code Fanatic, and make every moment more this season with FanDuel, the official sportsbook partner of the NFL.
21 plus and present in PA. First online real money wager only. Refund issued as non-withdrawable free bets that expires in 14 days. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Hey, it's Cuz. Best time of the year to be a sports fan. Especially, right? Baseball, playoffs, football season, hoops, hockey getting started. Best of all, you can now go to the games without restrictions. Continue your traditions with family and friends. And NJ Diet wants to help you keep celebrating victories all year long. You can win by getting yourself healthier, dropping a contractually guaranteed 20 to 40 plus pounds in as little as 40 days. NJ Diet starts with bioenergetically personalized supplements based on your hair, saliva, and blood work to help you lose that fat. Then NJ Diet uses DNA testing to help you keep the weight off. Put NJ Diet into your starting lineup today by calling 855-5NJ-DIET. That's 855-5NJ-DIET. Schedule your initial consultation by going to njdiet.com. Locations throughout the Delaware Valley, Cherry Hill, King of Prussia, Newark, Delaware, or worldwide with live online video consultations.
Of all the multitudinous manifestations that water can take, in oceans and ice cubes, in glaciers and streams, vapors and rain, double black diamonds, lap swims, and brains. Of all that water everywhere, only 0.5% is fresh water available for human use. That's why at Moen, we're innovating to save 1 trillion gallons of water by 2030. Discover Mission Moen at Moen.com.
At my age, I never dreamed I'd be dealing with opioid addiction.
I was pregnant and I couldn't stop. Getting sidelined by an injury was bad, but the cravings were way worse.
Then I heard about 844-REACH-NJ.
They connected me to treatment and I had a healthy baby. 844-REACH-NJ was the call that made the difference.
Thank goodness I made the call.
So glad I made the call for both of us.
REACH-NJ. If you or someone you love is struggling with addiction, call 844-REACH-NJ from the New Jersey Department of Human Services.
Hurricane Ian is affecting the lives of millions. The American Red Cross is there now, working with local efforts to provide emergency shelter, food, and supplies for the thousands of evacuees. And they'll be there after the storm for those who will have lost it all. This station is part of the Beasley Best community of caring. To make a donation and to learn how you can help the American Red Cross disaster relief, emergency, and recovery efforts, go to bbgi.com/donate.
I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. 40% of Americans don't have $400 saved in case of an emergency. People are working harder and harder, but falling further and further behind. That's why at our firm, our fee is free. You don't pay us anything unless we win your case. When you're injured in an accident or hurt on the job, choosing a lawyer will be the most important decision you'll have to make. Injured? Call Morgan & Morgan, America's largest injury law firm. Visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
Progressive presents Married to Your Home.
I'm disgusting.
Oh, House, don't say that.
You could live someplace so much better than me.
That's not true.
Oh, yeah? Look at these uneven stairs. Gross.
House, you know I don't care.
Ugh, and the squeaky door hinge.
Well, I think it's cute.
No matter how much you already love your house, you'll love it more knowing you could save big bundling your home and auto with Progressive. Coverage from Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and third-party insurers. Bundle discount not available in all states or situations.
Asthma symptoms can attack anywhere, like on a city street. Now you can get fast relief anywhere with new improved Primatene Mist, the only FDA-approved asthma inhaler available over the counter. So whether you need relief of symptoms at the park or at your kitchen table, Primatene Mist starts working quickly, opening up your airways to restore free breathing. For temporary relief of mild symptoms of intermittent asthma, use Primatene Mist and breathe easy again. Available at CVS, Rite Aid, and Walgreens. Use as directed.
I love fall.
Cooler temperatures are nice, but our energy bills are going to skyrocket when we start up our old furnace.
You know, a more efficient system would save us money. Isn't Bryant offering instant rebates on new systems right now?
Seriously? I might even love winter with an offer like that.
For a limited time, Bryant is offering up to $675 in rebates on a new home comfort system. Visit nopaybryant.com to find a dealer near you.
Bryant.
Whatever it takes.
Bet Rivers Casino app has so many slots, your head will spin. There's the classics like 88 Fortunes and Jinji Baoshi, and new favorites like Dancing Drum Explosion and Hurricane Horse Coin Combo. Plus, right now, when you make a first-time deposit of $50 using code CASINO, you'll get $200 in free play. That's $200. Download the Bet Rivers Casino app today. It's a whole new game.
Presented by Rivers Casino Pittsburgh. Must be 21. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
We all know Philly sports is big business, and we've got you covered every weekday with the Fanatic's Business of Sports reports that are powered by Pico for Business. For information on how your company can save with Pico's incentives, go to pico.com/business.
Hello? Whether you're at home or on the go, listen to 97.5 The Fanatic on Odyssey on your smartphone, Roku, LG Smart TV, Waze, and more. That's Odyssey, AUDACY. Check it out now. Listen to the best Philadelphia sports talk from 97.5 The Fanatic on your Amazon Alexa.
Okay, let's get started.
At home or in the office.
Wow.
Just be sure to enable the skill. Say,
Alexa, enable 97.5 The Fanatic.
Then, anytime you want to listen, say,
Alexa, open 97.5 The Fanatic. Excellent choice.
Just past 5:30 here on 97.5 The Fanatic, talking Eagles postgame. It's Connor Thomas. It's Tom Alvord. And joining us right now on the Comcast Business Hotline, we have the man who you go to for all things birds, Tim McManus of ESPN. Tim was at the game, and he joins us now. Tim, first off, y'all dry, y'all warm, y'all good? The weather was tough out there today.
Yeah, man. Well, these are the days where it's nice to be kind of snuggled up in the press box.
Yeah, no weather up there, right? They got the heater going for you guys and everything?
Exactly right. You know, being in the locker room, like Lane Johnson, obviously big, strong guy, like shivering at his locker. Same thing with Jason Kelsey. And, it was obviously wet and nasty and cold out there. I don't know how the fans did it. Obviously it had an effect on the game. But, yes, personally, all good to go, man. Thanks. I appreciate your concern.
Oh, absolutely. We want to make sure you're all set because we need your insight on what happened today. I can't have you cold or getting rained on for that. Now, of course, everything's going to start with Jalen Hurts, and that's where we'll start with our question. I want to ask you, because he's made a huge step. Everything we've seen from him this year is what we talked about, outside of maybe like the first little bit in the Detroit game, and he came out of it. But he's been everything that this fan base asked him to be coming into this year compared to what he was last year. He's an MVP candidate. He's the reigning NFC Offensive Player of the Month. What's the biggest thing that you're seeing that he's doing different this year that has brought him into the spotlight as one of the premier players in the NFL?
Well, a couple of things that have really jumped out is the fact that his passing obviously has gone up considerably, and he's been protecting the football. And I would say that this game is not a shining example really of either of them, considering he threw a pick six, so there the accuracy wasn't there overall for the day, and he has that costly turnover. But, to his credit and the team's credit from there, that's sort of where the bleeding stopped, where, he, as you saw with Trevor Lawrence on the other side of the ball, he coughed it up 4 times, and he also threw a pick. I mean, these were not ideal conditions to be playing through as a quarterback. The winds were really whipping to like 50 miles per hour. So this obviously is not the type of atmosphere to be fully judging who a quarterback is or what they can do, especially in the passing game. But we know that Hurts does it in a variety of ways. And, another rushing touchdown for him. He continues to lead this group at a young age. He's right in the center of the circle. The guys didn't flinch. That was a quote from him post-game. I think that he kind of embodies that as a person, and they follow that. So he's showing kind of like all the signs you're looking for out of a young quarterback who's clearly on the ascend.
Yeah, absolutely. Another person who's on the ascend is Nick Sirianni. Despite this team going down 14-0, despite them losing 2 starters early in Darius Slay and Jordan Mailata, this team fights back, almost doubles the possession time of the Jaguars. They win 29-21. What impressed you most when it came to this comeback and just them handling the adversity, which is something we really haven't seen so far this season?
Yeah, well, I know coming into this game that they were, they liked some of their matchups in the passing game. Obviously when you have Devontae Smith and A.J. Brown, you're going to be favoring some of your outside receiver looks. The matchup with Dallas Goedert, they were feeling that as well. But, the conditions dictated that they stick to the ground largely. And what we've seen out of Sirianni in his short time here is that he is adaptable, that he sees the offense running one way. He's got a vision for it. He's got an idea. It's not working. He maneuvers, and he typically maneuvers successfully. And I think that we've seen that certainly in this game as well. The ground game just racked up chunks of yards against a Jaguars team that came in as the number 1 rushing defense in the NFL, having allowed only 55 yards per game on average through 3 weeks, and they busted for over 200. And so Sirianni continues to show, even in an emotional game with Coach Doug Peterson on the other sideline, that he doesn't just stick to a game plan. He kind of maneuvers as the game calls.
Now, let's talk about his defensive counterpart a little bit, Jonathan Gannon, because this Eagles defense has been incredible. They're doing it in different ways, whether it's what they did against Detroit in Week 1, and they gave up points down the stretch, but a solid performance there. A great one in Washington that we saw last week with the 9 sacks. Bradbury with a big interception today, and even though the scores haven't shown it in every game this year, the defense has been exceptional, even compared to what they did last year. Is there any chance that Jonathan Gannon is the defensive coordinator of this team next year, or is he a shoo-in now in your mind to go get one of the head coaching jobs that will undoubtedly be available?
I'll tell you what, he'll definitely be getting some heavy consideration if the defense continues on this trend, because he was getting them last year, even when the defense was kind of terrible, because he is looked at very well around the league. as a good leader, somebody with the intangibles that would be a good head man. And now his defense is rising up. Now, it helps when you have a talented group, and I think that we continue to see that the defensive line is able to generate pressure, get some takeaways. The cornerback group, even when Darius Slay goes down, you have somebody like James Bradbury who was able to step up. And in my mind, the biggest play of the game was that Bradbury interception. Darius Slay at his locker room, his locker stall is right next to Bradbury's, and when we're in their post game, as Bradbury's getting interviewed, Slay saying, "You guys got to ask the question, like, how did the Giants let this guy out of the building?"
That's a great question.
Which brought a smile to Bradbury's face. But clearly the talent is there. But to Gannon's credit, he's been hitting the right notes. There were some early pressures that you could see on Trevor Lawrence, dialing him up, not en masse, but like in key spots on third down to get the young quarterback kind of off his mark. I thought that he did a good job in the play calling, and then his players did the rest.
Yes, they absolutely did. And one of those players is someone who's impressed me a ton so far this year, someone who I feel like is just all over the field at all times, and that's TJ Edwards. I feel like TJ Edwards has really impressed me so far this season, and coming from the linebacker position that we've had nothing but question marks there for feels like 2 decades. Now, I know you're watching a little bit of everything, but what have you seen so far from Edwards? Have you had similar thoughts as me when it comes to how impressed you are with this guy?
Yeah, no question about it. I mean, I think that this linebacking core is one of the best that we've seen in a very long time around here, and Edwards is leading the charge with that. He plays physical, and he also plays smart football. He knows where to be, and when he gets there, it's usually with violence. And so that's a pretty good combination that you're looking for out of your linebacker. There was just too many teams assembled by this group where it was just ultra weak at linebacker. And while you can understand the way that they go about their business in constructing a roster, you want to make sure that you're not vulnerable in that area. And I think that this is clearly not the case this year. Edwards leading the charge, keeping even a guy like Nakobe Dean, who doesn't have a significant role in the defense as of yet, and a big reason why, despite his pedigree, is because TJ Edwards is playing lights out.
We're talking to Tim McManus of ESPN, covers the Eagles for the Birds, telling us about everything he saw today in the Eagles' win over the Jaguars. Now, Tim, we got to ask about the injuries because there were a couple, and the Eagles came into this game as one of the healthier teams in the NFL. But the injury bug bites in Week 4. We already saw that Jordan Mailata is going to have an MRI on his shoulder tomorrow. Any word on things going on with Sayamalo, Slay? Who am I missing? There's one more.
Mailata.
Yeah, I said Mailata.
Oh, sorry, my bad.
The injury front. Yeah, the injury front. What are we hearing there? Because it seemed like even the guys that were hurt were milling around on the sidelines a little bit, and everything was not totally serious there. Got any information for us on that front?
Yeah, sure. So Mailata was in clear discomfort as he was trying to get dressed in the locker room. Tough time putting on his shirt, things like that. I asked him about it, and he said, it's the shoulder's a little bit messed up right now. We're going to get scans tomorrow, and we'll go from there. And so, the MRI will help determine the severity of it and what the game plan is from there. And then I also talked to Andre Dillard, who all of a sudden becomes kind of a key factor because if Mailata does miss time, Dillard is eligible to come off of the IR this upcoming week. He's eligible to play against Arizona. Talking to him about it, he said, "Yeah, I'm technically available, but I'm not sure yet." But he did say that his strength is coming back, that the recovery is going really well. He's not able to lift at full strength yet, but he's getting close. So what he told me was that he's not far away from a return. I don't know if it's going to be this week, definitely, but if not, it seems like it's right on the horizon. And then I asked Darius Slay how he's doing, and he said, "I'm good." I've been around long enough, guys, where I've had players say I'm good, and then they're definitely not good on the injury front. So I don't want you to take that with any more than a grain of salt. But those were his words post game, and obviously we'll continue to monitor it this week.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so this team now 4-0, the only undefeated team left in the NFL. They win a different way. They win after being down, facing adversity for the first time. Despite the run game not being great last week, they were tremendous this week. Tim, right now, this team feels like they have absolutely no weaknesses. So if there's anything concerning you going into next week and going down the line further, what is it, if there is anything, with this Philadelphia Eagles football team?
It's really just sustainability, right? I mean, it's just keeping on this plane. Like as you mentioned, there's not a whole lot to nitpick. Special teams have not been the greatest. Sipas has been a little bit erratic, and Britton Covey is kind of learning his way. Although I thought he did a pretty nice job in the kick return overall today. But yeah, I mean, the injuries as they start to pile up, especially if they're along the offensive defensive fronts, it's like, okay. That's not great. Something to monitor. But overall, I mean, it seems like they got good leaders. They're well coached. They have as much talent as just about any team in the NFL. It's pretty close. And they've seen, like, this is a perfect example of they can win ugly and they can win pretty. They can win a shootout and they can win a slot fest. Like, those are things that you're looking to see as the season goes along. That shows what kind of character a football team has. You're the only undefeated team in the NFL. Obviously, it's a great start. First quarter-ish of the season, looking very, very good. Now they just have to maintain that level of consistency and just pray to the injury gods that nothing big hits.
And that's the key, right, Tim, is they got to sustain this, and you talked about sustainability. I got one more for you before we let you go. Get all settled in because I'm sure you had a long day over there. But the thing that we've been talking about postgame, we've gotten calls about so far, this team's ceiling. We want to say the S word, but we don't want to jump it. Is the Super Bowl the ceiling for the Philadelphia Eagles right now?
Yeah. I mean, yes to that. They are capable of competing right now with any team in the conference. They're the only unbeaten team, so
it's got to be right.
It's not like they've played a bunch of pushovers. Like Jacksonville came in and they'd only given up one turnover in the first 3 games, and the Eagles get 5 from them. You know what I mean? Like, they went against a Minnesota team that's not bad, and they made them look bad. And so, yeah, I mean, I think that absolutely it is. But we know in this town that getting to and especially winning the Super Bowl takes a lot, because the Eagles have only won the thing one time, and they've had a number of good teams during the Andy Reid era, et cetera. So it takes like crazy stuff to happen. And, the 17 season is a great example of, it's not just all about talent, but the chemistry has to be like this weird super something that even if your starting quarterback goes down and Nicky Foles jumps in, like, you're still going to the championship and he's going to play out his mind. Like, there's like this certain concoction that has to be right. We're far away from knowing with certainty whether this team has it, but the early signs are good. I mean, and that's where we are. We can't, obviously none of us have a crystal ball. We don't know how it's going to end, but are they capable, based off of the evidence that's in front of us right now, of getting to the Super Bowl? I mean, yes. There's no dominant team in the NFC, certainly. Is there one in the whole league? I don't know. But the Eagles right now are the best of the bunch, and I think Philly fans are going to enjoy the ride.
I think so, too. I'm sure they're going to be happy to hear you say that. Appreciate the time, Tim. Thank you very much. We'll let you go and get all squared away. I know didn't get rained on. I'm sure you still want to warm up, though. So thanks for the time, as always, and we will talk to you next week after hopefully another Eagles win.
Awesome. Always my pleasure, guys. Talk to you soon.
Thanks,
Appreciate
Tim.
it, man. Thank you.
That's Tim McManus covering the Birds for ESPN, taking some time out of his busy postgame schedule to join us. And there you have it, Philadelphia Eagles fans. You heard it from Tim McManus himself. We were ready to say it too, but I wanted, of course, the expert's opinion on that one. The ceiling for this team is the S word, the fun one that we could say on air, the Super Bowl. Now, and Tim made a great point about, hey, it takes a lot to get there. A lot of things have to go right. He could say it again, and he might even understate it a little bit about how weird things need to happen for it for a Super Bowl championship. For sure. Yeah, you think back to 2017, certainly were some weird circumstances that the Eagles had to overcome there. But so far, they're the best darn team in the NFC record-wise, the best darn team in football record-wise, and hopefully hopefully that they're going to be in a good spot injury-wise, so we'll keep tuned in on that. But appreciate, as always, Tim joining us, and that was some good stuff post-game. It sounds like the vibes are good down there at Lincoln Financial Field right now.
Yeah, as they should be. They absolutely should be, because this team is 4-0. They're at the tops of the NFC East. They're at the tops of the NFC. They're at the tops of the NFL right now when it comes to record-wise. They are the only undefeated team left. I know it's 4 weeks in. I know we don't want to get too ahead of ourselves, but when we see things going as good as they are going now, it's tough not to get ahead of ourselves. And when you talk about Super Bowl, listen, I said I'm not going there yet. I'm not going that far, because it's only 4 weeks in. Correct. It's a long time away. We just got to October.
Actually, you can go to Arizona now and check it out, because that's where the Eagles are playing next week.
How about
they're
that,
going to preview it.
And I'm really excited for that game, actually. I think that's going to be a really good test for this Eagles football team. Not that they haven't had good tests yet, but this is going to be another good test. The first, I believe this is the first playoff team of last year they'll be playing this season will be the Arizona Cardinals.
And I'll tell
week.
you, I'll let you in on a little hint.
Huh?
The team you played today is better than the team you're going to play in Arizona. I think
probably,
think without DeAndre Hopkins, and we'll see what they are when they get him back, because he's a difference maker. I think the Jaguars.
You could argue
the Jaguars might be the better team.
I think you could make that argument. It's on the road. That's going to be a tough. Yeah, it's tough regardless of who you play, let alone going to Arizona, going to the West Coast. There's also a potential that Kyler Murray's the best quarterback you play so far. I like Trevor Lawrence a lot.
Oh, he's definitely the best quarterback you played so far.
Right now, Kyler Murray.
Did Jeffrey adopt him? What happened?
I think right now you could probably say he's better than Trevor Lawrence right at this moment. So that's going to be a really good test for Jonathan Gannon and this defense. But when it comes to it's taking everything one game at a time, 1 week at a time, and I have faith that the Eagles are doing that because of the leadership they have, and good leadership goes a long way in everything, but especially the NFL.
You're absolutely right. Now, we're going to take a break here, and we're going to come back. We've got one more segment to run through before you have Flyers pregame, and everything jumps in here. Another game here on 97.5 The Fanatic to listen to. But it is all your calls the rest of the way, all your reactions, 610-632-0975. Couple of open phone lines that we will fill up with all of your thoughts on what happened with the Eagles. If you were down at the stadium, we still want to hear from you, because I still think you're crazy to sit through all that stuff. But it is you and us the rest of the way. Connor Thomas, Tom Alvord, and we'll be right back with you here on 97.5 The Fanatic.
97.5 The Fanatic.
Is sports betting about to become way more fun? You bet. Because the BetParx app has a brand new sports book. Live bets and parlays? You bet. Instant deposits and incredible app experience? You bet. Plus, your first bet is risk-free up to $750. So, are you already a winner just for signing up on the BetParx Sportsbook app? You bet. BetParx. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Terms and conditions apply. Pennsylvania and New Jersey only.
SEPTA and the BetParx Casino and Sportsbook app have something special for fans all season long. Free rides home from every Birds home game. Fans ride home free from every home game on SEPTA's Broad Street line from NRG Station, courtesy of the BetParx Casino and Sportsbook app. Free rides begin at halftime of every home game. Join the fun on the BetParx Casino and Sportsbook app by downloading now at betparx.com. Free rides and all about the fans from SEPTA and BetParx. Must be 21 and in Pennsylvania or New Jersey. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Hey, it's Cuz. Best time of the year to be a sports fan. Especially, right? Baseball, playoffs, football season, hoops, hockey getting started. Best of all, you can now go to the games without restrictions. Continue your traditions with family and friends. And NJ Diet wants to help you keep celebrating victories all year long. You can win by getting yourself healthier, dropping a contractually guaranteed 20 to 40 plus pounds in as little as 40 days. NJ Diet starts with bioenergetically personalized supplements based on your hair, saliva, and blood work to help you lose that fat. Then NJ Diet uses DNA testing to help you keep the weight off. Put NJ Diet into your starting lineup today by calling 855-5NJ-DIET. That's 855-5NJ-DIET. Schedule your initial consultation by going to njdiet.com. Locations throughout the Delaware Valley, Cherry Hill, King of Prussia, Newark, Delaware, or worldwide with live online video consultation.
When you bundle your renters and auto insurance with Progressive, you could save money, but it doesn't cover any terrible memories living rent-free in your head.
You remember that time we were
were singing in the shower, and then you heard a knock on the wall, and then you realized that your bathroom shared a wall with your neighbor's bedroom, and all you could do was stand there silently, thinking about all the other things they may have heard in the 4 years you've lived there? Yeah, good times.
Sorry, we can't save you from that memory, but we could save you money bundling your renters and auto insurance with Progressive. Coverage from Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and third-party insurers. Renters insurance and bundle discount not available in all states or situations.
Beasley Media Group wants to give a big shout out to Harmelin Media, who's celebrating their 40th anniversary this year. If you're a business executive or in marketing, you probably know who they are. They are one of Philly's largest advertising agencies and are responsible for promoting many of the businesses and services you hear on this station. They have been recognized 2 years in a row as an Ad Age Best Places to Work and as a top workplace by the Philadelphia Inquirer. So congratulations, Harmelin Media, on 40 years of transforming the advertising industry. And thank you for being a great partner.
Hey, it's Andrew. Listen up. I have to tell you about a spot, not just a spot, but the spot in South Jersey. Club 2120. It's just over the bridge at Pennsauken, and it is South Jersey's finest gentlemen's club and sports lounge. They have it all. Bottle service, and of course, the hottest girls. I'm not lying. They're smoking. They have top shelf selection of the finest liquors, an awesome beer selection. You know how I love my beer. They got it all. And the DirecTV package, so you can catch any game at any time. But let's be honest, you might miss some of the action because the women, they're going to be a welcome distraction. You have to check out Club 2120. 2120 Route 73 in Pennsauken.
Hey, it's Jen Scordo. Football season well underway. It's the perfect time right now to download FanDuel in partnership with Valley Forge, America's #1 sports book. New customers get a no-sweat first bet up to $1,000. That's $1,000. That's free bets back if your first bet doesn't win. Just sign up using my promo code SCORDO. That's my last name. Build a same-game parlay with your no-sweat first bet. It doesn't have to be a huge 8 or 10-leg parlay. I like 3 legs. Pick your team to win, pick your favorite player to score first, and then pick your next favorite player to score anytime. Boom, you got a nice little same-game parlay. And how about live betting? Place bets during games. With live betting, you can get updated odds on games that have already started. And most importantly, with FanDuel, you get paid super fast. It's all on an app that's safe, secure, and super easy to use. Sign up using my promo code SCORDO for your no-sweat first bet. That's my last name, promo code SCORDO. Make every moment more this season with FanDuel, the official sportsbook partner of the NFL.
21 plus and present in PA. First online real money wager only. Refund issued as non-withdrawable free bets that expires in 14 days. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Hey, this is Brian, and I'm the owner of Valley Grove Construction. We are expanding our team and hiring skilled and creative carpenters. As a company that truly values its talented carpenters, we prove it with top dollar pay starting at $30 an hour, a healthy work-life balance, an aggressive 401k plan, a generous vacation package, paid holidays, and even a $100 weekly travel allowance. You heard me right. That's over $5,000 a year to help with gas and vehicle expenses. If you're interested in a variety of carpentry work like framing additions, setting kitchen cabinets, tiling bathrooms, basement remodeling, and historical restoration, then apply today at valleygroveconstruction.com and click the Join Our Team link. If you're tired of not working with great people, not doing the skilled work that you're capable of, or maybe you're self-employed and you're just tired of chasing down all of your suppliers for the materials that seem to never come in, then apply today at valleygroveconstruction.com. That's valleygroveconstruction.com and click the Join Our Team link.
Hey, it's cuz best time of the year to be a sports fan, especially, right? Baseball playoffs, football season, hoops, hockey getting started. Best of all, you can now go to the games without restrictions. Continue your traditions with family and friends. And NJ Diet wants to help you keep celebrating victories all year long. You can win by getting yourself healthier, dropping a contractually guaranteed 20 to 40 plus pounds in as little as 40 days. NJ Diet starts with bioenergetically personalized supplements based on your hair, saliva, and blood work to help you lose that fat. Then NJ Diet uses DNA testing to help you keep the weight off. Put NJ Diet into your starting lineup today by calling 855-5NJ-DIET. That's 855-5NJ-DIET. Schedule your initial consultation by going to njdiet.com. Locations throughout the Delaware Valley, Cherry Hill, King of Prussia, Newark, Delaware, or worldwide with live online video consultations.
You could save big when you bundle your home and auto with Progressive, but when we just come out and say it, it feels like it falls a bit flat. So we're going to use humor. But we don't want to insult your intelligence, so nothing too goofy. And we need to avoid any polarizing topics. Oh, and it has to be about how you can save big when you bundle your home and auto with Progressive. You know what? Maybe humor is a bad idea. Yeah, it's never going to work. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Discount not available in all states or situations.
Chest up, engage your core, dig
At
deep.
Misty's gym, boot camp gets pretty close to the real thing.
Stack those plates like
She wants to spot a personal trainer with a military background.
I can cover this week's boot camp, but we need someone stacked. Isn't your cousin a Marine?
Indeed can help her hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. We instantly connect you with quality candidates whose resumes on Indeed match your job description. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
The opioids I was prescribed made me feel worse.
I was pregnant, addicted, and scared.
I thought painkillers would get me back on the field faster. I was wrong.
Then I heard about 844-REACH-NJ.
I got into treatment and delivered a healthy baby girl.
844-REACH-NJ was the call I needed to make.
I'm glad I made the call.
I made the call.
Hello, REACH-NJ.
If you or someone you love is struggling with addiction, call 844-REACH-NJ from the New Jersey Department of Human Services.
Hurricane Ian is affecting the lives of millions. The American Red Cross is there now, working with local efforts to provide emergency shelter, food, and supplies for the thousands of evacuees. And they'll be there after the storm for those who will have lost it all. This station is part of the Beasley Best community of caring. To make a donation and to learn how you can help the American Red Cross disaster relief, emergency, and recovery efforts, go to bbgi.com/donate.
Hey, it's Cuz. Join me for an unbelievable Birds watch party on a massive projection screen inside the 23rd Street Armory in Philadelphia. The party's being thrown by Philly Sports Trips and Brauhaus Schmitz. Incredible. So you know they're going to have the best food, German beer, lots of it, and lots of fun tailgate, games, prizes, you name it. I'm going to be there for all the fun. And, of course, the game. Watch the Birds with me and 1,000 fans Sunday, October 9th, the 23rd Street Armory. Go to phillysportstrips.com for your tickets. Come on, join me. We're going to have a blast.
Hey, to become the next generation of innovators, entrepreneurs, and creators, we're gonna need some things.
Like a high-speed internet connection that can turn my ideas into reality.
Like the skills to become the world's most powerful coder.
Like the tools to start my sustainable shoe business.
You just heard some of the millions of students Comcast is supporting through Project Up, our comprehensive initiative and $1 billion commitment to open doors for the next generation so they can build a future of unlimited possibilities. Learn more at comcast.com/projectup.
Helzberg Diamonds presents the guy who found the perfect ring. Jake needed an engagement ring, so he did his research, asked his fiance's best friends for advice.
She wants emerald cuts.
Definitely.
And he went to Helzberg Diamonds. Jake knew that Helzberg's been in business for over 100 years. That means quality. And with their price match guarantee, he'd get a great deal. And she'd get the ring she's always wanted.
Way to go, Jake.
So be like Jake. Find the ring of her dreams at a Helzberg Diamonds near you or at Helzberg.com.
No House Advantage is changing the game with the most dynamic fantasy sports platform available. You can play in pick'em contests versus other people, and you get the shot at winning $250,000 plus in cash. It's so easy. You enter a contest by selecting your player props. You can pick players at will, anybody. So if you know the players, you've got the advantage. You can climb the leaderboard and win big money every day. Sign up now with promo code Fanatic at nohouseadvantage.com or download the app using promo code Fanatic to get a first deposit matchup up to $25. It's absolutely awesome. No House Advantage is only available in select U.S. states. Users must be 18 years of age or older to play. See terms of use for additional details at nohouseadvantage.com.
Hey, it's Cuz. You tailgate for the game this week? Score big, serve it style with Primo Hoagies party trays and sampler platters. Get the best tasting hoagies in the area. Save yourself the prep time. Stop into one of their over 90 locations for the best in the business. Not just a hoagie. It's a Primo.
Listen to 97.5 The Fanatic everywhere. On Alexa at 975thefanatic.com, the Fanatic app, and now on Odyssey. WPEN Burlington, Philadelphia, a Beasley Media Group station, home of the most entertaining sports talk in Philadelphia. 97.5 The Fanatic, Philadelphia.
It's raining sideways.
It was raining sideways today. Man,
those winds are raining sideways, I'll tell you that much.
Some weather out there. But the Eagles, they overcame the weather. They overcame the Jacksonville Jaguars. They overcame Doug Peterson. And you know what? Frankly, Doug Peterson deserves to lose today.
Okay, why?
Because he comes back and he wears a hat He doesn't go visor. And then on the other side, you got Nick Sirianni staring right at him like, yeah, I'm the visor man in town now. He goes visor in the weather to just show up Doug Peterson on his return. Listen, if you want to win, wear the visor. Doug Peterson didn't have the cojones to wear the visor in the weather. And listen, that's why you lose football games. Nick Sirianni is next level. It was a great win by the Philadelphia Eagles.
I'd prefer my head not to be cold and get rained on, but that's
what you have hair for.
Okay. Well,
the hair is basically like the top of the hat.
Okay.
That's what the visor's so cool for. No, but Nick Sirianni was great. The Eagles were great. Everything is awesome. Now, Tom, you want to talk about, though, the likability of this team, too. We were talking about it a little bit in the break. And this team is incredibly likable. We know that. And that factors in with the fan base. And, Tim McManus, when he joined us, was talking a little bit about the special concoction of, the vibes have to be right. I'm paraphrasing a little bit what he said, but basically, the locker room has to have something special too.
Yes, yeah.
And we know that 2017 team had that something special. Clearly, they had the hardware to show it, and they overcame a bunch to get there. But this team is incredibly likable. The vibes are really high right now, and that's easy to say when they're winning. But even this offseason, you go down the line and you look at them, and it's just these are guys you want to root for, and that certainly plays into how a team can be embraced by a fan base. Look at the Philadelphia Phillies, who, by the way, they won their game today against the Washington Nationals. They are tough to root for a lot of people in the city because the personalities don't jump off the page at you. They just don't have those guys. And that's not...
The names do. The money does.
Yes,
the personalities maybe not so much.
For some reason, they don't connect with the city like that. And you see empty ballpark, even though they're in a playoff race. And there's other factors. This isn't a Phillies-related conversation, really. But I say that point to say this fan base getting behind you in Philadelphia depends not just on the way you're playing, but how you connect with the city. This Eagles team is doing a really, really good job of that as well. Not just what they're doing on the field, but all the stuff off the field. We talked about A.J. Brown's tweet about the tackle attempt that he didn't make and talking about that. I don't know, Tom, if you've seen this yet, but it's on social media. You can go check it out. Britton Covey, who will probably end up being released at some point because he hasn't been really good returning kicks. And I think it's time to give Devin Allen a shot. That was one takeaway from the game. And he doesn't have any more practice squad options. They've been sending him down to the practice squad during weeks and elevating him for game day, that being Britton Covey, not Devin Allen. I think his time with the team may be done. But he posted a video on, you can see it on Twitter. I think it was from his Instagram, though.
Yeah, Instagram Live, yeah.
Yeah, the Eagles were celebrating. And you know what they were listening to?
I do.
Dreams and nightmares like it's 2017 all over again. And it's a very likable team. The vibes are very high right now. It means something to have a team that's not only good, but it's easy to root for them.
Yeah, no, I think not only are the Eagles making it easy for us to buy into them talent-wise because they've showed it so far. We were bought in before the season even started because of how good of an offseason Howie Roseman had on paper. Right now it's turning into on the field because they're 4-0. A.J. Brown looks like the best receiver we've had since Terrell Owens. Jalen Hurts has made the jump. All of these guys are making plays. Big-name guys that we brought in. James Bradbury with the big pick today. Kaiser White's had a really nice time here in his 4 games so far. So it's not only just the talent, but it's the likability of these guys, some of these guys on this team, that makes it so much easier to root for. And the Phillies is a perfect example. I'm not one that thinks that way, but I have heard people out there that I just don't want to buy into this team. They're not very likable. I don't really love multiple players on this team other than Bryce Harper, whatever it may be. And then seeing Nick Sirianni go out there just kind of solidified it for me. Not that it was ever in question, but just made me think about it again. Goes out there with the Roxborough shirt. TJ Edwards had the Roxborough High School shirt on coming into the game. That's just, they just get the city. They understand that. Listen, I know it's just a T-shirt or anything like that, but for them to do that, for your head coach to go out there and have that on in the post-game press conference makes him, he's out there with his son too, and his son's as he talking to him, oh, you're doing a great job, buddy. So easy to root for that guy. So easy to root for the quarterback, who is just the ultimate. That is what you want in a franchise quarterback when it comes to all the intangibles off the field stuff. Now he's proven he has some on the field stuff as well this season, but just such an easy guy to root for. Does a great job in the community, does a great job when it comes to gun violence in this city and making sure he speaks his mind on those things. And you look at Jason Kelsey, Lane Johnson, A.J. Brown, Darius Slay. There are just so many likable characters on this Eagles football team that it just makes it so easy to root for them, and it makes it so easy to jump on the bandwagon, to buy into them. And it just feels like something special here in Philadelphia. And it's only 4 weeks, and you haven't played anyone that made the playoffs last season or anything like that, but it just adds to the factor of likability to this team as a whole. And it's just awesome to see as a Philadelphia Eagles football fan.
Yeah, it does remind you of 2017 and that team. And again, it's early. I have something else I want to get into about 2017. I want to see if you're feeling the same way as me, Tom. We'll get into that. I want to pop back to the phones, though. Talk to Mike down in St. Pete, down in Florida. Mike, you're on 97.5 The Fanatic. Appreciate you holding. First of all, Mike, everything good down there? I know the weather's been crazy for you guys.
Yeah, we're blessed where we're at. It's been pretty safe for us.
That's good, man. Happy to hear that.
The whole state's going through a lot of everything, so it sucks, but go Birds. It was a good win.
Makes it a little bit better. A little bit better,
yeah. We did a little group donation today for the people of Fort Myers. We have a little small group in St. Pete called Birds of the Berg, and we just did a donation for them. We raised a little over $1,000 just for the people of Fort Myers.
Oh, that's awesome, man.
That guy had the hardest, and just Birds, we're family, and we just tried to raise as much as we could. It was a good turnout.
Is there any way people out there listening can donate as well? Is there a website or anything like that?
Yeah, there's Birds of the Berg. That's what we're called. St. Petersburg, Florida.
Cool.
But Birds of the Berg is what you could do. Facebook group, you can Venmo, and send some love to Fort Myers because they were hit the hardest, and we're just trying to support them as much as we can.
Sure,
yeah,
absolutely.
Right now. Now, you watched the game today from down there. What'd you think about what the performance the Birds put on?
I'm still speechless. Even after last week, I'm just riding the wave. I can't believe how much good football I'm just watching. It's even with the 14 points down, I was like, the whole group, we got 200 people there, and I'm like, look, it's the first time we were down all season. Just relax. Let's ride this train. We got this. And, man, I'm speechless. I still am.
Luckily, we're not, because we have to do this this radio show. But if I wasn't, I'd be in that same boat as you, Mike. Like, we're seeing stuff that it's hard to – we love to come in here and do Eagles postgame and talk to you, and there's always going to be a reaction. But, it's tougher to come up with things on days like this because outside of the 14-0 deficit – it was a pretty darn clean game for the Birds the rest of the way, and they're just it's just fun, easy football to watch, isn't it?
It's good football, and that's good times. And I'm just speechless. I can't have anything to complain about. It's just have fun, enjoy the ride, and go Birds.
Yeah, absolutely. And, man, we're thinking of all you guys down there in Florida. Appreciate what you're doing to try and help people out. And you guys stay safe down there and do what you can. We're thinking of you. And appreciate the call, Mike. You enjoy the rest of your Sunday. By the way, and I hit it earlier in the show, but I'll tell you again, you can go to 975thefanatic.com/donate and donate in that fashion as well for everything going on with Hurricane Ian relief down there.
Yeah, help some people out that need it, if you can.
Absolutely. If you're able to, man, those things are tough. And luckily, we don't have to deal with that up here, but it's our chance to help people out. And, of course, there's a lot of people down in Florida that are transplant Philadelphians that I know. I've got family down there. I know a lot of people in this area have family down there. So thinking of all of them. Let's go back to the phones and check in now with Brian in Northeast Philly. Brian, you're on 97.5 The Fanatic.
What's going on, guys?
Not much, man. So you were at the game. You sat through the whole thing in the rain. We got another one of you crazy people who decided to brave that weather. How was it down there?
It was great. We went down early. We had a little tailgate. We had a little.
You tailgated in that?
Oh yeah, a couple drinks, some tomato pie.
Very nice.
We were rocking and rolling.
Did you keep the pies dry? You got to keep the pies dry.
Oh yeah, of course.
Okay, cool. Make sure the lid's on that thing.
Yeah, it's perfect. You don't got to keep it hot. It's perfect. Perfect Philadelphia tailgate food.
That's great. Now, post tailgate, what'd you see? What'd you see inside the lake?
Well, this was the game. I'm a little older than you guys. This is a game we always lost, right? When everybody was super confident and everything looked great, and you thought you were rolling, and then then the Birds would, we'd always lose to someone we shouldn't have lost when we shouldn't have lost to them. Usually it was the Cardinals. Right?
Yeah, just the perfect disappointment setup game, and then they go down 14-0, and it makes it feel that much worse.
Yeah, but I didn't feel it. I was like, I don't know. Is this coming or not coming? Is it, we're a little wet, so we're probably numb.
That's fair.
But,
yeah.
And they didn't disappoint us like they typically do, right? They typically the Birds lose when they shouldn't lose, and they win when they shouldn't win.
And that just makes it feel that much more real, right? Like, this thing isn't a fluke. Now, we'll see about the ceiling and where this team can actually go. But, man, you have the last undefeated team in football is right here in Philadelphia, and it feels like something's real. I don't know what that something is, but it feels real with this Eagles football team.
I agree, 100% agree. And, like you guys said, it's a likable team. It's, I don't know, it feels a little special.
It really does. Are you going to say the S word? Are you going to say it?
Super Bowl, definitely.
Oh, there it is. I needed somebody to, because we've been talking about it a little bit. I needed someone to call in after that game and say that's what we're looking towards.
Now, I did have a lot of whiskey today, too, so don't...
Well, you needed it. You see the weather out there? I can't blame you on that.
Yeah, it's a whiskey. As I said, for your tailgating, it's a whiskey tomato pie day.
You got to do what you got to do, man.
That's beautiful. Right. Appreciate the call, Brian. You take it easy the rest of the day. Maybe you have another celebratory whiskey. Responsibly, of course. But that sounds nice. Little whiskey, little tomato pie. That's my kind of tailgate.
Bad. Yeah.
I have to have Brian
Pretty
text
solid.
me what lot they're in next time. I'll swing down there. No whiskey before we come on air, of course.
No, I don't do that.
I'll have a slice of tomato pie, as long as they keep the pie dry. Man, I miss tailgates, man. It was so fun for the Vikings game down there.
Yep.
And everything's more fun when the Eagles have a winning football team like that. Now,
sorry, real quick. It also makes this game so much more fun, and this game answers so many more questions and leads people to not having the feeling of, hey, we've beaten the Jaguars, we were down 14-0, who really cares? I think it's because questions were answered. Could they step up and face adversity and conquer that adversity when they finally face it? That was a question we had coming into this game. That went out there, that happened, and we did that. Can this team respond in the second half, look good, score some second half points? They did that. They went out there and scored 9, and they probably could have scored more if it wasn't for them being up and then the game being out of reach. They did that as well. Could this team win a game when things aren't going the right way, when they have to adjust and when they're down? They did that, and they ran the ball like crazy, had over 200 yards and 4 touchdowns on the ground today. Jalen Hurts didn't put up like flashy MVP-type numbers, but he didn't have to, and they found a way to come out with the win. He game managed very well. He was very poised. He took care of the ball very well, other than the pick six that happened early in the game. After that, despite how slippery it was and despite the other quarterback having 5 turnovers, Jalen Hurts took care of the ball. So when it comes down to it, there's really nothing to complain about.
Jake Elliott. That's who it was. That was the other guy that got hurt that I couldn't remember when we were talking to Tim.
Yes.
Hope he's okay as well. Sorry. Yes, you're right. There's not much else to complain
There's just nothing
about.
to. Yeah, there's not.
Sorry.
You're good. I'm glad you figured that out, buddy.
Just popped it. It only took me till just about the end of the program. But yeah, there's not really. That's what these games do. And there's something I want to hit about 2017 too. And I want to see if you're feeling this way. Real quick, I do want to let you know, though. This might get some people's attention out there. Do you want to win $1,000?
Yes, I do, Connor.
How about 5 times a day?
Yeah, that'd be pretty sweet.
Pretty cool,
I'll
right?
probably retire.
Might buy a new house. 97.5 The Fanatic is bleeding green, of course, for the Birds, and also because of money, cold hard cash, $1,000 at a time, starting Monday. Listen, at 8 a.m., 10 a.m., noon, 3 p.m., and 5 p.m. for your chance to win $1,000 cash. Presented by Bet Park Sportsbook and Casino app. Everything you want in a digital casino and sportsbook. So not only are the Eagles winning, you could win too. Go ahead and do that cash contest and check us out. We'll let you know. We'll have a sounder and everything. It starts tomorrow, so go ahead and zone in on that. Now, the 2017 thing, and this is just a quick point because I do want to get to a couple other callers here before we're out. But for me, there was 1 year in my lifetime of watching the NFL, 1 year ever. And this is my adult lifetime, of course, because I was young for the 2004 season where the Birds go to the Super Bowl. And I was young really for those constant runs of NFC title games where they went to 4 seasons. But in my adult sports fan life, I remember 2017. And the biggest difference that year for me is that I couldn't watch other football games. I couldn't sit down and watch, Bengals Ravens on a Sunday night because the Eagles brand of football that year was just so much better than everybody else's. It looked like they were playing a different sport. Regular football was boring because the Eagles brand of football was so good. It's back this year. This is only the second time I've ever felt it. But when I'm sitting here and we have the TV on here in the studio and the Cardinals are playing the Panthers, right? Yeah.
Yes.
And I could care less because I know Kyler Murray isn't going to put on a show like the Eagles offense does. And I definitely know Baker Mayfield isn't going to. But the Eagles are on a different level right now. Again, we're only 4 games in. It's only a month's worth of the season. But the Eagles are on a different level. It makes good football seem like boring football because the Eagles brand of football is great. And the only other time I felt that is 2017.
So you're telling me 11-10 Denver Broncos win over the 49ers isn't doing it for you?
Oh, no, I was zoned in for that
yeah.
one.
No, so I don't feel the exact same way because I can just I know you can too to an extent, but like I can just watch football just to watch football and kind of like decompress when it comes to, all right, I don't have to stress about this. It's not the Eagles game. I can just enjoy the sport. But when it comes to it, when I look at these other teams around the league and I look and see it's 10-10 and Arizona is tied with the Carolina Panthers in 2 minutes left in the third quarter, I look at all these teams around the NFL, or most of these teams, and now probably all these teams around the NFL, and I go, man, the Eagles can compete with this team. They can beat this team, and they'd probably be favored in this game. And
they're favored in every game.
Every game the rest of the way. They absolutely are. So I just look at every team. We have a great game tonight between the Buccaneers and the Chiefs. That's going to be an awesome game to watch. But I'll be sitting there, and I'm not going to have the thought process of, man, the Eagles aren't on the same level of these guys.
Which is where we were last year.
Yes, correct. You're absolutely correct. And that was obvious when it happened, when the playoff game came and they lose to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and just get the doors blown off of them. But last year I'd be watching this game. Previous years I'd be watching the game tonight and being, man, like I love what the Eagles are doing. They might win the NFC East. They can compete, but they're nowhere near the level of these two teams. Tonight I'm going to be watching that game and I'm going to be, they're right here on this level. They can beat either of these two teams. And that's something, you're probably right, I haven't felt since 2017. And that is a good comparison when it comes to looking around the NFL and the NFL landscape and seeing how good and comparing how good this Eagles team is to all the other teams around the NFL.
Right, because there have been other Eagles teams that I've looked at. I'm like, man, this is a damn good football team. This is a lot of fun to see these guys. I mean, 2018 was one of those years, and they're coming off the Super Bowl, so a little bit of a different feeling there. But that's always been the biggest indicator to me, is when you watch other football teams that are good football teams, and you're like, this team doesn't even seem like they're playing the same sport as the Philadelphia Eagles. That's what it is this year. And again, only a month, but so far, it's incredible. And Tom, I'll bring you back to a conversation that we had after week 1 against the Detroit Lions and Jalen Hurts. And you remember what we were talking about?
Quarterbacks and Patrick Mahomes. Yes, correct.
And the conversation.
And I was angry at you.
You were very angry.
Doing that in week 1. But yes.
The conversation that Jalen Hurts has to be in order for this team to be a Super Bowl contender and a Super Bowl winner. Well, guess what, Tommy?
What's that?
He's in that conversation.
You're correct. Through 4 weeks, he absolutely is.
And he might be leading that conversation.
You're probably right.
It's incredible.
Especially with the Bills winning today, too.
Yes.
When it comes to the MVP talk, yeah.
I mean, it's really, really good that the Eagles are where they are. And it's good we are where we are. It was a fun post-game show. Appreciate everyone who called in, who tweeted, YouTube. Thank you for everyone who checked us out there. Thank you, Tom. Thank you, Matt, for running the board, doing a great job. Haley for running the YouTube. Ray for doing all the sound, everything. That's all
and
our
Tyler.
time.
Thank you, Tyler Zulik.
Yeah, and Tyler, who's going to be running the board.
Doing a great job, buddy.
You have Flyers pregame coming up next, and you will hear the Flyers take on the Islanders, and we'll get you right over to that. That's all our time here on 97.5 The Fanatic.
Go Birds.
97.5 The Fanatic.
Hurricane Ian is affecting the lives of millions. The American Red Cross is there now, working with local efforts to provide emergency shelter, food, and supplies for the thousands of evacuees. And they'll be there after the storm for those who will have lost it all. This station is part of the Beasley Best community of caring. To make a donation and to learn how you can help the American Red Cross disaster relief, emergency, and recovery efforts, go to bbgi.com/donate.
Hey, it's Cuz. Join me for an unbelievable Birds watch party on a massive projection screen inside the 23rd Street Armory in Philadelphia. The party's being thrown by Philly Sports Trips and Brauhaus Schmitz. Incredible. So you know they're going to have the best food, German beer, lots of it, and lots of fun.